if you guys check out your handouts, there should be some goodies for you.
What?
What handouts?
So up on the top right-hand corner where you can get to the chat and then
it's
see
your boy.
info and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have some notes. You can see the notes that your characters have been taking.
Journal?
Mhm.
Oh.
Oh.
Olenoth's notes and Gondor's
Yes,
map.
sir.
Yeah,
Gondor's
Gondor
notes.
takes notes, so I probably should.
Huh.
Wait, everybody can read these?
Everybody's got different notes.
Oh.
I can share them all if you like.
It's my personal journal.
I know. That's why it's like up to you if you want to reveal them.
There's a crow in the bucket.
Horris has some good notes.
Huh.
They have like a lot of words and stuff on theirs, Horris, for whatever reason.
He's like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Interesting.
Listen, I'm not the one playing the character.
Do we all have the same map, or are they different maps?
The map is all the same, yeah. That's
Okay.
something that you cooked up, just between Gert's Grove and the Narrows.
Gert.
I like it.
What?
Nothing.
Oh.
Alright, let's see this map.
I'll put you guys on the map.
Gondor Zendarian.
Oh, nice.
Map, 2 small mountain towns and sword fighting with Gondor. What? My notes, I get a little raunchy at the end.
And so you can see there's the
Gert's Grove!
that's right, the remains of Redmane, now known as Gert's Grove, at least on this map. The party, based on intel from Corpus, is he figured it was petty revenge, perhaps, if you can call destroying a town using a blight petty, but it was personally enacted by this noble, of whom you have very little description or detail. But Corpus suspects that he headed to Waterdeep, or perhaps is based out of Waterdeep, but that seems like the best place to look for a noble. You can see on this map here that Gondor has so nicely sketched out for us.
Yeah.
Really nice on the mountains, Gondor.
Thanks.
Yeah, he had a lot of time there doing some. While you guys are sleeping, he just does a trance, and then he's got 4 hours to study, do what he will. And to the west of Gert's Grove, you can see the Sword Mountains. They thin a little bit, and that location, Olenoth will tell you, is called the Narrows. It's a
That's
mountain
the
pass. That's right. And
Oh, okay.
beyond them lies Zenmir, which is sort of like the sister town to Piers Bale, or it was. It's also a small farming town.
Just want you guys to know that Zenmir blows.
Mhm.
It's not a good place.
It just blows.
Like,
That's all I know.
okay.
Is that in your notes?
Oh, and Marvin really uses a nice conditioner.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Uh-huh.
Proud of you, Marvin.
Marvin chirps.
You're usually not really good at keeping yourself clean.
Mm. He doesn't appear to have the mites anymore, Horris.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
Norris,
too bad. They were a good snack.
I saw your little note.
What? No.
I saw it.
He's
Oh.
playing stupid.
I got my eye on you, boy.
Oh,
I mean,
GM's
oh,
trying to
yeah.
drum up drama over here.
It literally just says in the bottom corner, Horris was here, W-U-Z.
As you get out of the remains of Redmane, over here at the Narrows, Olenoth knows the way because this is sort of where he's been as a kid. It's not an everyday trip that he would make, and in fact, Zenmir wasn't always the favored destination. But it's a little larger than Piers Bale anyhow, so he's been there a few times in his childhood. But as I said, they're sister cities, but there's a little bit of rivalry, and that's part of why Olenoth doesn't like the place. He's got, although Piers Bale is a shadow of what it once
Amazing.
was, it's right. Still superior to Zenmir. He will tell you that much.
Yeah, Zenmir blows.
That
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, look at the
sucks,
map.
apparently.
Tall buildings and
You know, Gondor, I'd really like to know how you know there's only 3 houses in Zenmir.
No, there's more. There's more. But he can. Gondor, you could sort of sketch this out as you were through the Narrows. Anyhow, it takes you a little while. It's a mountain pass, but it's not really easy to get through. There's a lot of winding little, very high up trails that go through these mountains. So these are the sword mountains that you're crossing now, and they tend to be jagged, as you might assume from their name, and mostly impassable. But here at the Narrows, it's a good little spot. And there are some places where you can look down west into the these are called the Heartlands of Faerun, and you can see just about out to the water too, the Sea of Swords far to the west. But Waterdeep lies there, where the rivers convene at the shore. So it's not too far to Zenmir. It's maybe half a day's travel anyway. And as you go through, there's places where Olenoth sort of stops to look at trees that they've had faces gouged in them, or little rock cairns, just signs of where children have been, where travelers have been quite a bit. It's definitely not a trading road, it's just sort of a backcountry road. Zenmir, as you spy it as you're coming out of the Narrows, it's a farm, as you would assume Piers Bale was in the past. Probably about 80 residents, you'd guess, based on the number of houses. As you're rolling up, you can hear music playing in the town square. And in fact, as you get closer to the town, you can see that a pretty good crowd has gathered in the town square, which the town square is, I'm being a little bit generous here to call it a town square. It's a well, and then there's a general store next to it. There's some barns, basically, that cordon off one central area of the town, and that's where a pretty good crowd is collected. And again, you can hear some music down there.
Can we?
Yep.
I'm
Here, let me see if I have it queued
I think
up.
my ears are plugged.
There's something.
Nice.
Cool.
A vineyard there up on the mountains where they can get some sun. A couple different spots where there's crops. Sort of anywhere they can find a flat expanse of land among the mountains here. But yeah, there's a crowd collected in the town center. But otherwise it looks a little sleepy for it's about noon here, the height of summer, so you wouldn't expect to see a whole bunch of people milling around, not necessarily. There's a few out in the fields.
You up for a nooner?
What?
What? Nothing. Go about your business.
Is that like afternoon delight?
Yeah.
Down in Zenmir, as you get into the town square, you can see that the crowd is assembled around a little hairy man. You guys gather around the crowd just to sort of get a peek, and you see a satyr who's playing music, and everybody there is rapt. They're dancing, clapping, just paying full attention to it. In fact, they don't really notice you guys as you come rolling up into town.
Horris, check their pockets.
Is there any women around?
Yeah, there's quite a few women.
Don't check their pockets.
A lot of them with their backs turned, in fact.
I see one woman. She's pretty fat, probably in her early 40s. Seems
Of the
as
human
though
persuasion.
seems as though she would be none the wiser if I slipped in and out.
Oh,
I would like to make a stealth check and try and get up behind her. 15 plus
Ooh.
a 20.
It's a good roll. Yeah, you
Little
can.
halfling fingers.
You stealth up behind this woman in the crowd.
Okay. I peek like in front of her as I'm standing behind her. And I make eye contact with somebody that's like 50 yards away, and I smack her on the ass and run.
There's she shouts and then tries to see who had done it, and then Olenoth and Gondor are the only ones within sight that were close enough, but she doesn't think it was them, so
I
she
just wave.
she glances around, but then her attention deviates back to the satyr entertaining these folks.
I want to stealth up and slap her ass.
Everybody's focused on the satyr playing, and so this
Did Horris come back to us?
Horris is he's sulking by some barns. He's just watching, watching from afar. Him and his bucket. Yeah.
Don't encourage his behavior.
I thought it was funny. I mean, Olenoth thought it was funny.
But you can see that the satyr. How about you guys give me perception checks?
That's a
Perception.
goat, right? Like a goat thing?
Right. He's got a
4.
sort of stocky upper body, but then from the waist down, it's like a boar almost, furry, cloven hooves, and he has like a little leather girdle on with some pouches on it. So Gondor's
The
rolling me a
girdle.
12 for perception.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people they're really into this music here. And in fact, you can see that there's a horse attached to a cart that's just stopped in the middle of the street, basically. And you see by one of the nearby general stores, a broom has been carelessly dropped across the threshold. Like, these people dropped what they were doing to come see.
Do we like the music?
I mean, it's fine.
How many people are gathered around?
I would say there are 30 or more.
How many?
30.
Alright. Did we perceive anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna have you guys roll will saving throws.
Oh, fuck.
Will
Actually,
saving
Horris,
throw.
you're far enough away that you can't hear the music as closely, so you're
What's a
not
will
gonna
save?
do
Wisdom
this
saving
throw.
How do I do it?
Let me see here.
Wisdom saving throw?
Yeah, it would be wisdom.
Ouch.
Class. Oh,
Hmm.
charisma, I think is yours. Charisma and constitution.
Gondor, this music is incredible. You Olenoth and
We have proficiency in wisdom and charisma, James.
Yeah, I plus
Add
2 there.
proficiency to it.
yeah, didn't do enough.
Oh.
So Horris and Olenoth, you watch Gondor
Well, no.
pushes his way through the crowd to get up front, and he's clapping and laughing along with the other folks.
I'm fine, you said?
Yeah, I mean, the music is okay. It's what you sort of expect to hear. It's a one-man band essentially. He's just playing the pipes.
I want to look at Horris. Does he look like he's still staying put, or?
Horace is he's still slinking around.
Shit about music.
Yeah, I don't know. Horace, actually, this general store there's nobody in it. If you want to perhaps
Jerky.
obtain something, yeah,
So,
go ahead and take a peek, if you wish.
Going in.
All right.
Take a peek.
So when you move into the store, there's nobody in there, and you're watching the crowd as you go in, and nobody's looking to stop you.
So I'm looking for some jerky. I'm also looking for some onions.
Okay. There's no fresh vegetables here. You do see some garlic hanging from knots from the ceiling. So Horace, you suspect that the provisions would be behind the counter.
Instead of walking behind the counter, I just sort of lean over the counter and take a look around.
Basically, farming equipment. There's some harnesses and things for horses. There's bags of grain. You can also see like various pouches and waxed canvas, but the pouches don't have anything in them. You sort of shuffle through a few of them. Even the ones directly under the counter, you don't find a till, so to speak, a bag of coins that you use to pay for things. With the bags of grain, you find some provisions that you use for the road, hardtack, that sort of thing, and you find some jerky there too.
Well, I stuff my pockets to the brim with jerky. Any space left from the jerky, and then I fill every orifice on my person, excluding internal, with grain.
Okay.
So any pocket, any line,
Yeah. This is all unmilled wheat.
He takes some rope, ties it around his pant leg so he can stuff his pants full.
He comes out looking even more bulbous than usual. Cheeks are packed up with grain. The
Wait,
ears
what?
even.
His butt cheeks.
What happened to Gondor? Is he still enthralled by the music?
Yeah, Gondor, you were having the time of your life there listening to this satyr play.
Nice.
Do I notice anything up with him, or
You want to roll Arcana for me?
I got an 11?
Okay. You would guess that he's really into this music, as some of these other people are. I mean, it's not your thing. It's sort of like, you know, if country music is playing, you're not going to turn it off, but you're also not going to, you know, seek it out. And what this satyr has going on, it's, you know, you don't see the charm necessarily. You don't see dropping what you're doing to cavort in the town square when it looks like there's work to be done.
I'm gonna leave him to be, and I'm just gonna mosey around and maybe go to the barns or something.
Gondor.
Yep.
I'm going to have you give me another wisdom save.
Alright. Oh, even better.
Dancing now.
Yeah, there's a lot of like-minded people here, and the lady that Horris had, you know, hit before he struck her, she gets your elbow, and you're together doing a little dance there in the town square. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the local flavor, Gondor. This is the life right here. This is pretty good.
I decide to
You're pretty good
waddle
packed
out to the square to see what all the commotion is about.
You see everybody, just about everybody in town that's awake anyhow, is they're at the show here. The satyr has set himself up. There's like a little crate. He has a lute and some pipes around his neck, and he's playing them both and tapping out a tune on this crate with his hoof. And he's arrayed himself in front of this barn, and you're not really sure if this is like a special event. I mean, midsummer is probably one of these 10 days here, so you're not sure if maybe they invited him to town and he's performing, or if he's just a traveling band or what, but these people really seem to be into it. In fact, Gondor is totally on board. You see him whooping and shaking a leg.
Woo, Horris, come join us.
There's a lot of people here, Horris. That's the thing. It's a little crowded.
No?
You're missing out.
You look like an idiot.
Thank you.
Some of the farm folks, they call out to you. They say, "Hey, Halfling, come over here. Join in."
And at that point, I head the exact opposite direction, about 20 yards. I don't sit like Indian style, but I sit to where like the bottoms of my feet are touching each other, and
Spills out.
sure, yeah, I'm like
you're leaving
surrounded by a little
path.
bit of grain,
Yeah.
and then I take out a lute and I start playing my own tune.
Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna turn into one of those like
It's like a-
music playoffs.
Yeah, it's a war of buskers.
And I put an empty pouch out right next to me.
You
Come
filled up
see
all
the
your
grain,
orange
boy.
juice.
That's right. You have to dump out a little bit of the grain to empty the pouch. That's okay. They can put their money in the grain. It's fine.
Are there
Let's
any
see.
animals in the barn?
In these barns, yeah, there's horses in a few of them, mostly goats here. They seem to be. I mean, you know that from Piers Bale, as goats were pretty big up in the mountains.
Yeah.
It's a little
I'm gonna
bit hard to
pet a
do
goat.
cattle. There's
Big
not enough
goats.
room.
I want to pet a goat.
Roll me animal handling.
Just trips and falls into the goat.
Me, 9.
You pet the goat's flank a little bit, and it just walks away. It's not interested in you. It goes to the other side of the barn.
I'll get you, my pretty. Missing Gert.
Yeah, he's off his game a little bit.
Gave him up.
Horris, as you're playing out there, you're playing your heart out. Most of the people in the crowd don't really care. They're not there for you. But there's a half-orc farmhand that comes walking down the path. He sees you standing apart. He sees the crowd, and he says, "Oh, there's two of you now."
No, just one of me. I'm here on my own.
The half-orc nods. He stands next to you, arms akimbo. He appreciates your music. He says, "What's the fuss all about with the performance over there?" And he inclines his head toward the satyr.
I have no clue. Seems as though people like terrible music these days. And I continue with my lute.
He scoffs and he listens for a moment or two. Shuffles some dirt with his feet. He puts 2 coppers in your bag when he leaves.
Oh, wow.
And I drop the lute immediately and I start shaking the bag around.
Grain's going
Nice.
everywhere.
Yeah, the half-orc shoots a glance behind him when he hears the loot hit the ground, but then he just sees you going after the coin and he shrugs, keeps going.
Who's the real winner now?
Gondor, you've sort of had your fill of this music, essentially. You're not sure why you were so into it, enough that you were leaving all good sense behind and just dancing with these farm hicks. You sort of, you dust yourself off, you separate yourself from the crowd, and one or two others are doing the same as you are, and they're sort of looking around like, why were we so enraptured by this music? The crowd still remains more or less strong. There's still around, 25, 28 people there.
Can I see Olenoth or Horris?
You can see Horris. He's got a bag of coins. He's crouched in the middle of the street, shaking this bag of coins. You can hear there's not a lot in there, but there's enough to make a pleasant sound in the leather bag. You're not sure where Olenoth is.
Well, I'm gonna go over there then.
Okay. So Horris, it looks like Gondor's had his fill of the music. You've got your
What
coins, though. You seem to be
What
content.
happened to me?
Marvin is standing by Horris here, and he just sort of looks up at you, Gondor. He makes a sound like a sour note on a lute, a little plunk.
Thank you, Marvin.
And then he's
Very
watching.
insightful.
Yeah, Marvin's watching Horris shake his bag of coins.
All right, where's Olenoth?
Olenoth has moved on to a horse now.
Oh God! Save the horses.
Gondor, you can see Olenoth in one of these barns here. There he is, and he's petting a horse.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go over there then. Dude, what happened to me? Do you know what happened?
Seemed like you were having a grand old time.
Oh,
I never took you for dancing.
No, me neither. Why are we here again?
We're passing through. Yeah, why are we stopping here? This place blows.
Yeah, you said that earlier. Yeah, we're still here.
Olenoth,
Maybe we could take these horses.
potentially. But Olenoth, you're pretty familiar with the Narrows and getting to and from Zenmir from Piers Bale, but you're not quite sure how to get to the high road, which will take you to Waterdeep. So you would want to ask for directions here for sure.
We may need to find someone, maybe a traveler or somebody with a wagon. The area knows the routes. 'Cause I don't really know where I'm going past this.
All right.
The problem is, though, everybody in town, except that half-orc that slunk through, seems to be just among this crowd watching the satyr perform.
Let's go find somebody that looks likely to know how to get to Waterdeep.
I know how to get to Waterdeep.
Horris stands up in the street. He's got his 2 coins in his purse. He looks at you.
I sort of sprint over or waddle over.
It's like a
where
big child.
I can shake the coins and run over at the same time.
He drops the loot halfway, bends over to pick it up more green. You've been to Waterdeep before?
Oh no, I just wanted to join the conversation. What's up, guys?
I think we need to hit the road.
Where are we going?
We gotta try to find our way to Waterdeep, but
Oh,
Gondor,
maybe somebody here knows how to get there. I made a good friend who gave me 2 copper coins. Over that way, and I point towards the direction you went.
You can see the back of that burly half-orc. He's heading toward the Big Rooster, which is the pub here.
let's go there.
And I run as fast as I can, just as fast as I ran it over to Gondor and Olenoth, shaking my coins and, and just like I'm slowly losing pace with them, but still running as fast as I can.
Marvin splits off from Horris's frantic jogging, and he falls in with Olenoth and Gondor here. He tries to sort of match your strides. I mean, he's sort of a copycat type of guy, but he's got his chest puffed out. He doesn't have a sword or a shield like you fellows have. He doesn't have a bow or a quarterstaff. But he has a little dagger, and he sort of wears it proudly. Among some of the people who had broken off with Gondor and left that the group assembled around the satyr, 1 or 2 of them also headed for the Big Rooster here, the tavern. So you guys want to head over?
Yes.
Big Rooster.
We do.
You recall this, Olenoth. You've been here once or twice. This was not the first place you got drunk, but one of them first places you got
I've
drunk.
gotten drunk here before.
The Big
Nice.
Rooster.
There's a lot of men in this bar.
Huh.
And it's also something of an entertaining pastime is coming up with different names for the Big Rooster. There's a lot of different slang terms, different ways of referring to it.
Mamie cock meat.
So you
What?
you enter this this tavern. It's as you would expect for a small farm town. It's not that large. There's only room for about 3 tables, but you expect they would be packed up in a few hours after. It's around 1 o'clock. You know, high noon is coming past, and you guys are actually ready for lunch. But there's only a few people in here. That big half orc that Horris you had spoken to. He's up at the counter. He's talking to the proprietor, and there's 2 people at one of these little tables here. They've got their deck of cards they haven't yet dealt.
I'm not quite there yet. I'm about
Okay.
halfway to
Still
there.
outside.
As
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys enter the door.
You hungry, mate?
I'm hungry.
Yeah, you could definitely get something to eat.
Yeah. I'm gonna go stand up next to the half orc and wait to talk to the
The half orc is he's drinking from a glass that's probably too small for him. You expect by the smell of him that he's probably a farmhand.
No worse than Horris.
The barman he greets you, Olenoth. He says hello.
How's it going?
He says it's going all right, but everybody's, and he inclines his head toward the barn across town there, and he says everyone's at the performance. They're not here drinking.
I've been here for a while, but I don't remember a satyr being in the village.
He shrugs and he says the satyr stumbled out of the woods. He comes here now and again, but he's never had such a large crowd.
Gondor seemed to like it, pointing over my shoulder.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's Gondor's like trying to be super reserved now after that outburst that he only partially remembers it too. And it's coming back, like it's coming back to you, Gondor, the embarrassment. You're like, oh god, I was dancing with the children. Oh no.
Can we get 2 number 8s and a happy meal for the child?
The barman sets you up with some fare. Yeah, you can sit apart from the half orc, but he's just in his drink essentially.
I bash into the door.
Mhm.
I sort of use my hip, and my pants are filled with grain, so probably about a pound of grain falls out of my pants, and the door can't close completely with the pile there. And I run over to the half orc and I start shaking the coins in his face. It's like, hey, you remember me?
He's well, you can't shake it quite in his face. He's about 6'8", and you're like 4 feet
Oh,
on
okay.
your
I'm
tiptoes.
shaking at his leg. Hey, you
Yeah.
remember me?
He
Horris has
yeah.
Asperger's.
he
Oh,
gives
there were no
you
diagnoses
he gives you the nod,
these
but
days.
he's just there to get drunk. It looks like.
And so I climb up one of the chairs that's unoccupied, plop down, order
can
some
see that.
ale.
Yeah, of course.
Ooh.
The barman is ready for that. He serves it up, slides it down the bar, nice and cold.
I reach into my pocket, grab some jerky, and pull some jerky out, and a bunch of grain spills out with it. The jerky's still covered in grain, but I dip it in my ale and take a bite.
It's pretty good. Yeah, yeah. You're not sure what kind of jerky this is. Might be horse, might be cow.
I don't know. It's meat. Tastes great.
Gondor
Horse
and
jerky.
Olenoth, you've been set up with some vegetables. There's some beef.
Nice.
It's a nice little dish. Yeah, it's a little bit of spices, a little bit of salt. It's pretty good. Not all the way cooked through, but I don't know if you guys prefer it a little rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a problem
Better
for
than the
Olenoth.
rations we have.
Right. It's nice and warm. It's good, and the atmosphere isn't here too bad in the Big Rooster.
Nice and quiet.
I take a look at their platter and make a mention to the bartender. Why isn't this food bleeding?
The barman says it's fresh, but it's not that fresh. We still cook it.
Waste.
He says, you know that jerky you're eating? It was smoked.
Better than cooked on a fire.
It's cooked way over a fire.
The barman he shares a look with the half orc and he says, "Do you know how cooking works?"
I keep biting at my jerky. Nope.
he's really good with a bow. Horris had some blood, but well,
That's gone now, you motherfuckers.
somebody dropped it in the river.
Oh, it was an accident.
Fuck
So-
you!
While you guys are enjoying your fare and your ale, a man comes from out of the stairwell from upstairs. He's sort of this old fellow. He's in a robe, and he goes to the barman. They have a little conversation behind the counter, and this old guy he takes some bread, a couple little morsels from the kitchen, and he brings them out back. Looks like he's eating back
Mr.
there.
Mulligan?
That is Brother Slow. He keeps the rooms. So you remember on those lively nights here when you're in the Big Rooster, he was a little more reserved, and the barman Gert was a little more rowdy. He would sometimes even drink with the patrons. But so
the old man has a bit of a musty smell to him.
Yeah, and Gert says you got that right.
Something
So
smells good.
the barman he looks to you, Olenoth, and he says, "You said you've been here before."
Yeah, we've drinking together before.
He nods and he says, "I've drank with many. Where are you from?"
But I was the best. Oh, over yonder in the area.
He looks a little suspicious for a moment, but then he says, "So what brings you here to Zenmir?"
On our way to Waterdeep, hopefully.
He says, "Well, you can get provisions at the granary. That would be a good spot to go. We've got there's also a bowyer here," he says to Gondor.
What?
Long shot bowyer.
Huh.
There's
That's a
a
thing?
halfling there named Goose. He'll set you up if you need a new string, more arrows, perhaps.
Do you happen to know how to get to Waterdeep?
Well, Gert, he glances back. He says, "I don't often leave the town, but Waterdeep is west." He sort of he licks his finger. He thinks about a compass rose in his mind. He says, "Yeah, west. You'll want to go through the mountains and to the high road from there, and it's about probably 3 days to get there. Maybe more, depending on how your travel is through the mountains."
Do you have any horses?
Alright.
Horses, yeah, of course. You would talk to Old Lady Gumpus at the Gumpus Granary, if she's got one for rent.
Old Lady Compass.
The half-orc, he says, "She doesn't have good deals. Don't bother with Gumpus." And the barman rolls his eyes. He comes over, he passes Horris. He puts a hand on your shoulder, Olenoth. He says, "You want to come to the Cobb. That's the place. You want to get horses? You want to get corn? I've got you."
What's the cob?
He says, "It's my general store. I'll take you over there."
Ah.
You guys are still mid-meal.
Can I come with? I've never been to a general store before.
He says, "Sure." He reassesses you as he sees all the grain that's sprawled around you.
I got some grain I could trade you.
He nods and he says, "I prefer coin, but grain could do it."
I got 2 copper. What's your name?
"I'm Sharak," he says. He puts out his hand and gives you a knuckle crusher of a handshake.
Oh, it's nice to meet you.
He says, "Heading to Waterdeep, are you?"
That's the plan.
Well, listen, here's one for you to think about. Tonight, there's going to be a barn dance, and you might try your luck there. The winner gets a whole team of horses. Sharak, he spreads his hands and he says, "We'd love to have you at the barn dance. We typically have more lasses than men, and it'd be nice to have you guys show us some moves." He laughs and he says, "It's a dance-off," and he gestures toward Gondor. He says, "I think you may have an ace in a hole here."
Yeah, he was really getting into it.
Yeah.
Maybe without the chainmail. Although, it does have a nice jingle to it. Don't you think, Horris?
Eh.
Yeah, chainmail isn't the shit. It's you want separate, disparate pieces of metal. They can't be chained together. It's no good. Sharak, he pats you on the back, Olenoth. He's sort of chosen you as the contact for this party, and he says, "By all means, stop for the evening. If you need something, come visit the Cobb, not Old Lady Gumpus, and we can set you up with whatever you need. You could buy some horses from me, maybe. I have not enough for your party, but come to the barn dance. You can perhaps win enough for the whole bunch of you and more. I'd be willing to buy any extras."
Is that satyr gonna be playing the music?
He shakes his head, but probably not, no. Sharak, he's had his afternoon ale. He marches back across the town square. His shop is apparently further up the street. And as he's passing that group, he looks agitated. He sort of waves them on, like there's people here. He calls out a few individuals. He says, actually Daryl is among them. Daryl with 3 Ys, you know the man. He's yeah,
the man, the legend.
Daryl Zenmir. He's actually among the folks gathered. And Shorak, he shouts at a few of them. He says, "Come on, get moving. Leave the satyr be. Let's go." You can hear him shouting out there. And a few people peel off, but the crowd is indomitable and around its nucleus of the satyr. Pipes are still playing, the loot is still going. A few people peel off with Sharok, but they're still there.
So I suppose horses are gonna make this a lot faster. Maybe you should show them your moves, Gondor.
Yeah. A few more of these ales. Let's give it a try.
That's right. The barman laughs. He fills up the mug.
Maybe we need to stay the night then if we're gonna be dancing into the dark.
I think so.
Gert, the barman, says, "Yeah, the entertainment starts in the evening after sundown, but you're welcome to come over before that, in fact, since you're guests. I'd love to have you." He explains how there's, of course, refreshments, free food, that sort of thing. Lots of ladies, by the sound of it.
I like women and men.
All right. Should we
So-
just rest, hang out?
The barman, he's pretty happy to let you guys mill around, just take a table if you wish, play some games with the locals if you want. Or, I mean, you could just mill around the town, too. You don't necessarily need to sleep if you don't want to.
Did you,
But consider this a short rest for sure.
since you both are so prolific with the bows, did you want to visit the bowery?
Yeah, long shot bowyer.
Bowyer. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll tag along to whatever. I'll grab as much ale as I can. You guys gonna eat that food? And I just start shitting my pocket.
Can we take these to go, holding up
The bowyer, it's not hard to find. There aren't a tremendous amount of businesses. Honestly, the Big Rooster is sort of like the biggest place around here. Apart from the ranch, where you can see the high barn, which is where that dance is to be held. It's up on the hill a little bit. The property is adjoining the vineyard, but there's a good fenced-off ranch over there. Olenoth, you suspect that that's the Zenmir ranch? I mean, things have moved around a lot since you've been here.
3 Ys.
Zenmir's, I mean, they pretty much own the town. It was founded by some ancestor of theirs.
Douglas Zenmir with 14 O's.
Douglas. Couple exclamation points, too. But yeah, they own most of the farming around here, or they have perhaps indentured farms. That's how it used to shake out, as you know. And that's part of why Zenmir is such a fucking awful place, is the fact that they have that sort of, they are indentured to a landowner, whereas Piers Bale, there's more independent farmers that own their own land. So you guys make it over to the bowyer. What you find is it's a pretty small shop. It's the perfect size for you, Horris. In fact, it's nice and comfortable. This place has a large assortment of bows. On the wall, you can see all different shapes and sizes, both long and short bows. Bales of hay here and there, targets, all types of different arrowheads, tips. They're in a glass case by the counter. There's a little halfling, bald-headed. He greets you. He says, "Hi, welcome, welcome." He sees the bows and he says, "You look like you're looking for arrows. Empty quivers?"
Hello! Yeah.
So he sees Horris with all his grain shaking in, and his enthusiasm's dialed back a little bit. He's gonna have to sweep that.
I, having drank probably 3 large cups of ale very, very quickly. I'm pretty lit at this point.
Yeah.
I walk over to the glass case and I start like putting my face on the glass, just in absolute awe. And I drop the bag of coins, the 2 coins, and say, "What can this get me? Show me around."
Goose gestures you toward some of the fletchings. He can sell you arrow tail feathers for 2 copper.
And then I drop my my other pouch of 240 gold. And
Well, you divvied
say,
that
"What
out,
can
didn't
this
you?
get me?"
I feel like you divvied that pouch out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the
Six-
impressive
No.
jingling-
That's I start. No. No.
We got rid of our gold from the other one.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
We got rid of the
Unless you
gold
got-
from when we
Unless
earned
you got
gold?
something else.
Mm.
I have 60 gold apparently.
I
or
have
something.
60 as well.
I
Okay,
think,
yeah.
We started with 20 and we made 40 each from
Yeah.
that whole thing.
Right.
From the
Okay.
pixie.
We only made 40 gold?
Each.
It was
Are
split
you
3
fucking
ways.
kidding
Yeah.
It was 120 total.
That's
Yeah.
bullshit. Alright, so, I dropped my 60 gold onto the counter and say, what can this get me?
The little halfling behind the counter, he takes you to the wall. He sort of gestures grandly. He says, 60 gold will buy you most everything in the shop here. And he gestures toward crossbows or short bows. There's actually a long bow that's been, like, halfling styled. So it's not really a long bow. It's more of a short bow. But, I mean, you
That's
could
a
get your
long bow
arms
for a
around it.
halfling.
It's
Yeah,
a short longbow.
exactly. Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle there. Goose seems very proud of it.
That seems like a very nice piece you have there. May I take a few peeks at it here?
He hands you the bow off of the wall, gives you 2 arrows. There's sort of like a firing line that's been arranged from one side of the store to the other. Olenoth and Gondor, you stand out of the way, and you could take aim at a target that's sitting on a bale of hay, maybe 30 feet away.
I walk over to the line for where I'm supposed to stand, and I sort of trip and fall. More grain falls out of my pants. I almost land on the bow, but I sort of throw it aside. No damage that I can see from the bow after inspecting it for a couple of minutes. I give Goose a thumbs up, and then I take a couple shots with the bow.
Yeah. It seems like a pretty well-built bow. He wants 40 gold for it, which is a lot. It's a lot for a bow.
Nah. I don't know how money works, so that's nothing. All right, let's see how this puppy handles.
It's a pretty
Yeah.
nice shot. It's a bullseye.
Yeah, it's not too terrible. It doesn't have the break that my bow does. Is there any way you could adjust that where we get the sort of a snapback?
Goose says, "Oh, of course, we can mess with the attachment points for the stabilizers for the string." And Goose, he sort of like fiddles with it. He's got tools that he pulls out of his smock and he adjusts it. He adds like little bone washers that he slips onto the string to steady it, give it a different pull.
This is fancy. I like this place.
He says, "How do you feel about that pull, sir?"
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Another
It's got
bullseye.
a better break. It's got a better break to it. Anything you can do on the balance of the bow?
Goose is fussing with Horris here. Gondor, he's got some good stuff. In fact, your attention is drawn to one that looks like it's special, maybe magical. It's your size, too. You like a very large longbow.
Elf size, yeah.
I'm pretty attached to my longbow. I'm gonna pull it out and show it to him.
While Horris is again shooting nothing but bullseyes there with this bow. Goose, he looks at your bow. He says, "It's nice. The string is just fine. It's getting a little frayed." Goose
Yeah.
offers to give you a tune-up.
Yes, that's what I was
Yeah.
looking for. How
To
much
the
for
tune of
the
2
string?
silver coins. He'll tune it up for you.
All right.
He'll get that humming. He'll
Seems reasonable.
yeah, he sort of sizes you up, and then he goes behind the counter, and you can see him shimming the grip a little bit. He's filing off the anchor points where the string meets the bow itself. He says over his shoulder as he's at his he's got like a little tiny anvil, and he says, "Are you boys coming to the barn dance?"
Oh, you better believe it. This guy over here is the best dancer around.
We're winning the barn dance.
He says, "Oh, that team of horses. They're straight from Amphale. Very good horses, I hear." And
Oh, yeah.
Olenoth, you know that Amphale is southwest of you currently, your current position. It's probably on the way to Waterdeep. You've been to Amphale once or twice. You know that it's like the place to go for horses.
Amphale is the place to
Yeah.
go for horses. Best
You guys-
ones.
yeah.
They really are soft.
you guys have heard of Amphale Greys before. That's where they're from. They're good steeds.
How many are they given in the winnings?
Goose, sort of offhandedly while he's working, he says 4 or 6 is usually a team. If you're planning on winning, I don't have the tack or the cart to go with them. You'd have to ask at the granary or the cob. Gondor,
46.
Goose is done with your bow. It's nice and tuned.
Nice.
You can feel it just by hefting it. He's done something well worth the 2 silver coins.
What's up with that one?
He says that's a +1 bow right there.
Ah, I don't really use bows.
Well,
Like,
you've got the
padding
crossbow. Yeah.
Patting my warhammer on my side.
He says I can offer you some bolts. Good price too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Let me see him.
He's willing to sell you bolts for 1 copper piece apiece.
Okay. Let me check those out.
Yeah. You can fill up your quiver if you wish. All of you guys
wanna-
can.
I want to load one in
Yeah,
and shoot it over
definitely.
Horris's shoulder at the target.
Roll me an attack.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
You
Jesus
did.
Christ. I hear him loading the crossbow behind me.
What was that?
This is not gonna be
That was
good.
fucking terrifying.
It was.
I covered my mouth and the mic went up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I rolled a 3 plus 4 is 7.
I drop the bow in front of me and I sort of bend down in a hazy state as he shoots. And I don't even realize he's actually shooting over my shoulder. But I hear
Cuts a little hole in his back and
Yeah.
pours out.
like my grain falls all
Yeah,
over
I'll
the
take
floor.
these.
You yeah, Olenoth, you put a pretty good size hole in the wall next to the target. And Goose isn't very happy, but he's mollified.
You shoot like a dream, man.
Yeah, he's mollified when he sees that you're going to purchase something and not just ruin his wall and then leave.
I'm gonna give him 5 copper instead.
Okay, you can fill up your
Alright.
quiver.
Yeah, I want to get some arrows too.
Goose has a there's something on the sail rack that he points your attention toward. He says, for 20 gold, I've got this arrow of undead slaying.
It's right
My
up your
ears,
alley.
my ears perk up.
Can you explain the details?
You know that an enchanted arrow like this is, when it's fired, it's very effective on its chosen target, but after that it reverts to being a normal arrow.
So it's a one-time use?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Horris, what's your chosen enemy? Don't you have like a sworn enemy when you chose your class?
Yeah, I think it's undead.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe you're interested in it.
So how much is that +1 bow? That special bow.
Goose says he'll let it go for 120 gold.
Whoa.
He sees your reaction, he goes, well, I mean, clearly he hasn't sold it. It's been there a while. And he says, I guess I could sell it for 90.
Oof.
Oof.
You in need of horses there, Gray?
You got any use for grain?
Goose, he looks down at the grain on the floor, and he sort of ignores Horris. He says, I can fill your quivers if you like.
We happen across a fortune of horses. Would you be interested in one? Or maybe 2? Depending on how much horses go for.
Goose says, for one of those Amphail Greys, certainly, I'd give you the bow for one of those, absolutely.
What is this bow?
I'm gonna throw him an offer for 10 gold for the undead arrow.
We're gonna roll for that, Gondor. So what's the... Yeah, I think persuasion, unless you want to make a case for something
Intimidation.
else.
No, just persuasion.
Ooh, natural
What do
20.
we got? He's going to let it go for 11 gold. He's firm on it. That extra
11.
gold.
Alright. You got a deal for 11.
Goose, he fills your quiver with the standard arrows. What kind of fletching do you want? Hawk feather, you can do colored ones.
Hawk,
Yep,
only
he-
the best.
Yeah, he
The
loads up your
red-tailed
quiver.
hawk.
The undead arrow, you can tell it apart. It's got it looks like a U shaft, and it's got a little silver creeping up it. Not anything super flashy. And the tip is it's a pretty sharp tip.
Really?
Pointed leaf blade. You can tell that it is it's got a cant to it. So as an archer you would know this. There's arrows that are built for hunting game, which are oriented a certain way. When you have the arrow knocked on the bow, the head is pointed vertically to get between the ribs. But this one has a little twist to the arrowhead, so it's for going through human ribs. Pop that on your
Nice.
character sheet, and you can just keep it in your quiver
Yeah.
with the rest.
Is that
Nice.
special bow like big?
It is a longbow.
Okay. I would have turned to Horris and say, Horris, why don't you try that special one out? Mildly
It-
amused at the prospect of this.
It'd be about the size, just over the size of the bow that I have now.
Mm.
I made the bow that I have now
Yeah.
based on what I've seen bows look like in the past. It's just a bit shorter, so typically I have to stand on my tippy toes to shoot the bow anyway because of how close to the ground it gets.
Or else you have to hold
Um,
it sideways, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
But no, I jump at the prospect of using this special bow. I pick it up, I look it over, and I sort of forget how long it is, and I like try and put it vertical, and it scrapes against the ground a little bit,
Yeah.
and I like jerk it upward a bit and look around and make sure nobody saw it. I'm sure everybody heard it. I hold it at about a 30-degree angle, so I can stand on my tippy toes and still use it without it hitting the ground. And then I knock it back, or I knock the arrow and I draw it back, and I sneeze and I accidentally shoot the arrow into the ground, and somehow the bow smacks me in the face, and
Dealing
I say,
28 points of damage.
yeah, not worth the money. I put it back on the counter. I walk up to Goose and I say, "Is this the typical quality of your bows? Because I mean."
He says, "Oh no,
this-
that wasn't mine. I didn't make that one."
Oh, okay. Well, the bow I have, this 40 gold bow, it's great. It is slightly off balance, but that's no problem. It doesn't shoot as straight as I'd like. Also, no problem. I'll give you 30 gold for it.
Give me some persuasion.
Could I do deception?
I would let you do deception if you were trying to sell it, but if you're trying to buy it, I don't know if you
okay.
can lie to him about his own product.
Damn it.
You make a pretty good case for Goose. He says, "I'll let it go for 20 gold."
Wait, wasn't it 30?
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. It's also like
Got
the
a deal.
little bit of the halfling sort of fist bump. That was also assisted roll by Marvin. He was helping you out.
All right.
Wink.
Thanks, Marvin.
He gives you the special
Hey.
handshake.
Could I get this wrapped up in some nice wrap so I can take it?
Goose will wrap it up for you in nice wax paper, seals it with a little bit of glue on the edge, and he has also a wax seal that he puts on it, a ornate G. Mhm.
Bet that
G for
stands
goose.
granary. Oh.
Are there any other arrows besides that undead arrow that Olenoth just picked up?
Well, I can do
Or
a special order if you want. It depends on what kind of arrow you're looking for. I can do custom fletching. I will also put any kind of head mounted that you want. Depends on what kind of wood you want.
I stroke my bare chin.
So Olenoth,
What?
you've basically seen enough, right?
Yeah, Olenoth's not really interested in the whole archery aspect of things. He carries one out of necessity, not pleasure. Hey, Goose, you got any swords?
Yes, but not ones that you would like.
Oh.
He sort of
Okay.
he gestures toward the short sword on Horris's hip. It would be halfling sized, is what he's getting at. Okay.
Maybe we should go see Cobb. See what
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got there.
Stop by the Cobb.
All right.
I mean, Sharak seemed pretty cool. He seemed
Yeah.
personable
Yeah,
guy.
and
Yeah.
old lady Gumpus. Who wants that?
I suppose we should wait for Horris, though. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
well,
He might be a
nah,
while.
you know, he'll get it up.
This bow that I just spent 20 gold on that I really have no. I asked Goose, do you have any dyed fletchings?
Oh yes, and Goose's eyes light up. He says, "Let me show you." And he has several different. There's a whole bunch of boxes against one wall, all kinds of different dyed feathers, different colors for each. While Horris is doing his shopping, where would you like to go? You want to go to the Cobb or the Gumpus Granary?
No,
What's
not
closer?
Gumpus.
Not Gumpus.
Is there anything on the way?
Oh yeah. There's also Wet Willow's Pottery. Is another spot. I don't know. Maybe it's something you'd be interested in. There's not a whole lot of businesses around
Or
here.
you want to check it
I
out?
mean, we've got time to kill, so sure.
Alright. We go in with like
Yeah.
this smug, I don't want anything in here.
It's a lot of local crafts. An older half-elf lady who owns the shop. You presume Wet Willow. Yeah, she very eagerly shows you around at what's on store here. There's everything from large amphoras to little pinch pots. They've also got parts for kilns,
Do they have any
apparatus
buckets?
for... no, there's no buckets. They
Clay
do
buckets?
have pottery, though. There's some pottery.
Can I ask her if she has any magic items?
The only magic is our beautiful craftsmanship. And she brings you over again to this other pot. She says, "This earthenware, it's lovely. Look at this. This handle is just perfect for your hands, dear. Look at this. Pick it up. Touch it."
I'll handle it.
Do
Do you have
some-
any bucket-sized pots that might be able to stand up to some abuse?
They're fired, but they're not going to stand up to the rigors that your friend Horris would put them through. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, don't encourage him.
Okay.
We don't need that.
He's got a medical condition. He can't help it.
Oh, we're not going to Gumpus.
So at this point, you can see that the satyr has packed up and left, and the crowd is dispersed.
Gondor's a little bit sad. He's just
You guys get to the cob. It's
Cobb.
yeah, that's what it is. There's a great big ear of corn over the door. It's a rectangular building, sort of like a giant corn crib. There's corn all over. Dried corn, Indian corn, different varieties. This is also, it looks like it's trying to be a general store, but there's just a lot of corn. And
Corn was actually one of Olenoth's crops.
so Sharak, he greets you heartily as you come in. He says, "Welcome to the cob for all your corn-related needs."
This place is great.
yeah, it is.
Okay, let's check in with Horris. What's going on here?
I would love to get about how many arrows can I fit in the quiver?
Usually 20, 25 is about the good size for a pretty big
Are we going to
quiver.
start counting that, or just like
No.
when you're in a town fill up kind of deal?
I'll keep track of it secretly in the shadows. You don't need to worry about it.
Okay.
I'd like to trade in the arrows that I have left. Probably be about 12. I'd like to get 5 blue, 5 orange, 5 red,
He's got tracer arrows.
5 purple, and 5 green arrows.
Goose can
25
absolutely
arrows,
provide you
please.
with those. Yeah, absolutely. You fill up your quiver. Now, are they just all stuck in there randomly, or do you have them like by
No,
color?
they are Asperger's syndrome oriented. Absolutely in an OCD pattern in my quiver.
He also sells you on some felt dividers for your quiver to help keep them separate.
Oh, felt dividers. That's
Fancy.
fancy. I'll take some of those as well. How much, good sir?
All right, it's going to be 35 copper for all of it.
Okay. Let's
I
go
I
ahead.
have to pee so fucking bad.
Okay,
I'm like,
you want to take a penis break?
yes, please.
Half
do that.
hour.
I'm going to take kind of a big break. If you want, we can hang around and
Yeah, I'll be back
Yeah.
up in like 3.
I'm
or
gonna
5
pee for 30 minutes.
just a long, strong stream, just as hard as you can.
Oh,
I have to
fucking-
flush twice during that time.
Mention for another hour. I don't think we're gonna go another hour, but let's get to the barn dance, okay? How about that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right,
for
all right,
Gondor.
all right, all right.
That
Fucking-
spiral only took like 3 seconds.
You fucking liar.
But look how big it is.
He's got a good point. That was a good spiral though.
It was all right. It was pretty good. I feel like it could have been tighter. So we've done a little bit of shopping. The party has dined. We've had our short rest.
Looked at some pot.
That's right. And the satyr has packed up. He's no longer performing there in the center of town, and so
Should've
Zenmir
punched him
has
in the throat.
returned to its
Yeah, we
standard
should've just
tempo.
Tackled him.
Nobody did. You sat and listened to the music.
Nobody had a
So-
reason to, unfortunately.
I-
I'm just dumb.
Well, I was enjoying it.
Gondor is loving it. Horris is too busy stuffing his pants.
Yeah. Well, Sharak sort of tried half-heartedly to disperse the crowd. Yes, indeed.
Tastes weird.
So you guys, I presume you're done with your shopping. We're just gonna wait till sunset.
I think we were heading to Cobb's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I gather up all of my sweet loot.
Yeah,
Um,
some good stuff.
And I thank Goose for the good time and
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
bow and the arrows.
He gives you the little halfling wink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
You cut out.
off some. Go on my way.
And so, when you leave, Marvin stays for a moment or two to watch Goose as he gets the broom, starts sweeping up some of the oats. And Marvin sort of looks like he should help, like he's going to assist in the sweeping up, but then since Horris left, he leaves as well.
You boy.
That's
Boy
right.
Marv.
Actually, Marvin is quite enjoying all the grain. He can peck it up.
That's great.
Another reason for him
I
to
leave-
follow you.
Yeah, I leave a very thin trail of it on my way out the door.
Just to keep him interested. Yeah.
The hole in your bag is just dropping it slowly.
Like an hourglass of grain.
An hourglass
Is
of
it still-
fun.
Is the crossbow? Oh no, you said it went through.
Yeah, you definitely shot a hole in the wall well enough. But you're a paying customer, and sometimes that's allowed. And also, honestly, it probably gives Goose something to do, because it seems like there's not a lot of market here for weapons of martial prowess. So you guys, you went to the Cobb, and you met Sharak again. And he's got a lot of corn, he's got some supplies that he's willing to sell you. I don't know if you guys are on the lookout for anything.
What's he got?
He's got tack for horses. He has some rations, no jerky. He's also got a number of... It seems like he was looking for things to put in all of this wet willow pottery. So there's little spots here and there. One of them contains maybe makeup powder, like rouge. Another one has marbles. There's another like little ashtray, and it has acorns on it, just on a windowsill. So a lot of that sort of stuff. A lot of gewgaws, and sometimes it doesn't look like they're for sale. But Sharak is trying to sell you on the corn. Olenoth, do you want any corn?
I'm gonna definitely buy some.
Yeah, he's got it any which way you want. Ground, in a tortilla, even he's got it.
I just want some ears of corn. Like,
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
plentiful. You can
100
grab them right off the.
124.
That's more than you can carry, I think.
I want 9 good ears of corn.
Okay, 9 is a lot. You're gonna be cutting a rug with 9 ears of corn in your back pocket.
Is there any going in my sack? Okay,
Yeah,
fine. I want 3 good ears of that we can
3,
enjoy
okay.
this evening.
That'll be a copper piece.
Oh, sweet. You got it, dude. Give him the Olsen thumbs up.
Okay. The Olsen.
You got it, dude.
Thank you, Brad.
Gondor, there's not much in the Cobb that interests you. Humans seem to really like corn for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
Fucking
what's up with
nerds.
that.
Yeah, these things are great, man. You're gonna like it.
It
Well-
seems like when Olenoth used to be here, he was drinking and he was after the corn, and that's
Oh, totally.
the only redeeming parts of Zenmir, apparently.
Fucking love corn.
So, assuming we don't win this dance contest, what can you offer us for horses?
Wow. The pessimism. So Sharak, he takes you out to one of the barns that's like right next to the building. There's a lot of barns in this district of town.
This is about the time I catch up.
Yeah. So Horris, you and Marvin follow these two. You peek into this barn, and you see there's a draft horse there and a mule, and that's sort of what he's got for offer. He explains that the Zenmir Ranch kind of has a monopoly on the horses around here. If you need a horse, you go to Zenmir, but you're going to pay through the nose, he assures you. And Shorak says he'll give you a real good deal on the horse or the mule. There's even there's a lease program if you're interested in that. He'll lease it to
There
you.
are mules?
There's a mule in here. Yeah.
Does leasing
Okay.
mean you expect to get it back?
Yeah, it's sort of like a couple payments, and you
Alright.
have the option of rent to own, or you can return it.
What are the conditions of if the horse doesn't make it back? Just thought.
Well,
You
you're
know,
gonna pay a
some-
deposit too.
Rare happenstance that doesn't make it back to its owner.
I'm sure there's gonna be consequences. You'd work it out with the contract, I'm sure.
Okay. Are there any horses that would make me look like a normal-sized person?
There's
Not a
just the
person.
one. Yeah, there's
You
just
should
the
ride
one
the mule.
horse.
The mule would be sufficient.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
I think I
mule
just
would
said something really racist.
the mule would
What?
probably be a
I
good
said- I
fit.
said you're not a person, or
I'm a humanoid. Fuck off.
Humanoid.
here, you have an ear of corn.
Gondor. Shorak offers the horse would be 75 gold to own it outright. The mule he'll let it go for 50. But honestly, that doesn't look like such a good price. It's not the best mule.
No.
And how much was renting them?
I'm
Or
kind
can
of
you rent 'em?
joking about that. I'm not going to give you
Oh.
actual rental prices. You're not going to rent a mule. It's just Shorak is
Rent it.
he's a salesman. He's trying to get you to buy some shit.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to you if we're down on our luck later.
Yeah. Tell you what, the if you want to lease it, it's 100 gold down and 25 a month.
Fuck my life, I'm poor.
Sharak,
Yeah,
level with me here.
sure thing.
Who? Two questions. Who judges the dance contest?
When you
whole
say two questions, he says, "I'm all ears." It's a corn joke.
Ah, I like this guy.
Now, what was the question?
I don't remember.
Who judges the contest?
Oh, who
Yeah,
judges
yeah.
the contest? Yeah, that would be Daryl Zenmir,
Nice.
as well
Okay.
as there is his daughter will also be on the judges table. That's Lottie Zenmir.
Lottie.
And there are a few other dignitaries from about the town, and Shorak gestures toward himself. He, of course, will be on the board of judges,
Oh, okay.
and a
I was
few
afraid of
others.
that.
He says, "Why? What's there to be afraid of?"
I was gonna ask if we could purchase anything that would give us a little bit of an edge.
Hmm.
You got
So,
any slick boots?
yeah, with that, Shorak, he takes you aside. He says, "I can teach you some special dance moves."
Oh, Gondor, get over here!
Oh.
I think Gondors are.
So, Shorak, he very impressed with himself. He shows you a couple of his moves, and he doesn't have music to dance to. Maybe that's why it's so awful. But he's got two left feet. What he shows you right there, you don't know much about dance, but this isn't. It's not remotely something that's going to win the favor of judges. And Shorak seems very impressed with himself, but overall, it's a pretty poor display of someone who's too big to have the grace necessary. But he says, I can offer you lessons. We still have a few hours before the dance.
Hey,
No, thanks. We'll just try our luck.
Okay. All right.
I was thinking some like bell bottoms, maybe some high top or platform.
Oh,
shoes.
the accoutrement.
Oh,
yeah.
We're not
Okay.
dressed for this.
So you want a shopping?
montage.
That's right, the shopping montage. We can do that if you want to jazz up what you've got. The thing is, the Cobb, they don't have a whole lot in the way of clothing. You'd probably have to go to the granary for that.
Oh,
The
To the
Gumpus-
granary.
Gumpus Granary.
Don't tell him we're going
Wait,
there.
the Gumpus?
Yeah,
Oh,
Gumpus
we're not
Greenery.
going to Gumpus.
Oh. So,
Hey, Horris.
Marvin starts saying, Gumpus. Gumpus. What's
Horris,
up,
you got any
Olenoth?
dance moves?
Yeah. I'm sure
Do
you
I
got
have any
some.
dance moves?
You're pretty nimble.
Let's see here.
Well, the thing
I,
is, if you have moves, they're a little rusty, because you haven't been around people a whole lot.
Well, I mean, doesn't mean I haven't been practicing in the woods. What do
That's
I roll
true.
fucking dance moves?
You want to bust some out right now? Yeah.
I'll show some. I'll show some off.
Okay.
Clear the floor. Clear the floor.
So you clear a spot here in Sharak's barn. The horse and the mule are looking on. You have a chance here to very much impress them, Horris.
Is this the barn I was in earlier?
No, you were in a different barn. You were over near the granary, actually, in the
Gotcha.
town square.
No,
So, what kind of check is this going to be?
Let's see.
This
here.
is up to you.
Performance.
Okay,
100%.
performance. Got it.
I mean, actually, let's do acrobatics because
Oh, yeah.
I have the perfect gift for it.
Okay.
Oh,
I looked this up before you even asked. All right. Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Impressive.
And I sort of sprawl out on the ground and sort of clear out some straw from the floor of the barn.
So you replace
and then,
all the straw with grain from your
Yeah,
pants.
yeah. And let's see if it posts.
Yep, it will.
Okay. All right, and I just start fucking booking it, and grains
Yeah.
flailing out of every pocket and every
shit.
yeah, and it starts doing rainbow.
Acrobatics for sure.
So instead of a bear, picture a rotund halfling, and instead of a shark and a turtle and an alligator, there's a kenku and an elf and a human, and they're watching this
Gondor
happen.
is definitely the turtle. Those moves, man.
Marvin's
boy.
the alligator over there.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
yeah.
Flapping his wings.
Yeah.
And then I stand up and sort of stretch out. Say, yeah, I haven't practiced in a while. Dancing's stupid.
Yeah.
Gondor just slowly claps.
The proprietor of the cob is pretty impressed.
You might have gotten out of this one, Gondor.
So Shorak says, I'm not supposed to judge the dancing until later, but that was an impressive showing. He says, it looks like I can't teach you anything. So,
Lessons?
Marvin, however, so this void that you've opened up, Horris, Marvin steps up, and he wants to bust out a couple
shit.
moves.
Let's go, Marvin!
So you said this was performance?
It's up to you.
Acrobatics, if you want to do,
Okay.
you know,
Backflips
if you want to be
and
on
shit.
my level.
Yeah, he's gonna try for the break dance. It's not as good, but it's pretty darn good. He does some of the same moves. He's got the baby freeze. He does the inverted pinwheel. He's got them all. And so what Marvin brings to the table is the incredible beatboxing.
Oh,
Right. Yes.
And he busts out some moves. Yeah.
Right at the end of my dance, I sort of do the like hand wave thing, go from one side to the other, and I sort of touch his wing with my hand. And he follows through with the end of the wave, and then he starts breakdancing himself.
Yeah. So they bust it out. Horris, Olenoth, Gondor, are you gonna?
Olenoth feels emboldened. You definitely use performance because it's a -1, but I'm not sure if I should even roll. He's not gonna do good.
Well, you had a glass of ale at
That's
lunch.
True. It's an 11 total.
Okay, it's
I'm in my
not
happy
impressive.
space.
Yeah. He does.
Keeping it here.
Imagine a white guy trying to dance.
All right.
That's
yeah.
that.
Hitch.
I start
Olenoth,
cringing a bit.
yeah, Olenoth. He does the bus driver, and then he does the sprinkler,
Let's try.
and then his special move is the the lawnmower. So you pull to start, then mow the lawn. That's what he's got.
Horris is not one to be sarcastic, and he's never really experienced a situation where sarcasm would be used. But he cringes a bit, and he puts his teeth together, and he says, "Nice."
And then at this, Shorak, he looks at you, Gondor, and all eyes sort of settle on you.
Yeah.
What? What do you guys want?
Marvin starts up another beat.
Bring it on home, Gondor.
I break out the lute.
Yeah.
Gondor, are you gonna dance or no?
Yeah, well, I'm not quite feeling it like before, but I'll give it a try.
Okay, all right.
Are we
What kind of
doing,
check is this going to be? You can give me
Gondor.
strength, athletics. You could give me performance if you want.
I'll do performance.
Okay, sounds
I
good.
didn't know Olenoth was Paul Blart.
He is. It's true. Gondor, you're a little bit sheepish, and you also feel super awkward dancing in a barn with a bunch of like weirdos. So you do even worse than Olenoth. It's all right. I mean, the thing is, it's not the kind of dancing that you'd see in Waterdeep. It's not the fancy footwork. It's not the right steps. But he's got a little bit of rhythm. You know, he's working with what Marvin gave him, and so it's not disgraceful. You do okay, Gondor. If this were in front of that satyr though, with those hot beats, it would be a different story.
Yeah. So you're saying it was kind of like this?
All right, Gondor. I think you're benched, buddy. Oh, Jesus.
I was thinking
We're knocking
more
out the
like
gifts. Just the fall on your face. It happens in slow motion too.
Thing I've ever seen.
I think I saw that happen. That was on America's Got Talent.
Yeah. All the animals are the judge's reaction.
All right, so you guys are limbered up. So it sounds like we're ready for a barn dance.
I think Horris is our new.
Nah, I don't dance.
What?
Sorry, that's not my thing.
But
He had the best dance.
Marvin should do like a combo dance.
think of the horses.
Only if Marvin provides the music.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Sure. Well, you presume there's going to be a band, but Marvin can help out for sure. He's got some instruments.
I don't do band.
You could lend him a lute too.
The band will stop playing.
I don't know how good Marvin is at the lute, but he could do the vocal sort of thing for you.
He memorized the Pixie song.
Marvin opens up his beak and he regurgitates a rendition of what sounds like court music, just sort of like a gentle. There's a tambourine, some flutes, that sort of thing. Something you'd overhear in the city. It's not dancing music though.
Hey Gondor, you want to go see Grumpus?
That's the other place to go is Gumpus. It's
Stay out of there.
and Shorak is like, you don't want to go see Gumpus. What you need is here at the Cobb. And he tries to lead you guys back into the Cobb itself from the barn. He couldn't get you into a lease on a horse or a mule, so he's gonna try to get you to buy more corn. So what do you guys want to do?
How long
Buy
until
more
the
corn.
dance?
There's probably an hour or so. You go take a nap
That's
if you
enough
want.
time to go see Gumpus.
It's true.
Who's Gumpus?
I want to go back to the bar.
Okay. Gondor's gonna go back to the big rooster.
Yeah,
Hey,
the rooster.
Olenoth. I tug on his shirt. Who's Gumpus?
Let's go see Gumpus. Are we outside of the Cobb?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're outside. Let's go see Gumpus.
Yeah, the Gumpus Granary is it's basically across the street over
You're
at
gonna
the
love her, Horris.
town
shit.
center.
You're gonna love her.
Oh, fuck.
And so Gondor just beelines for the tavern. He doesn't want anything to do with this. The Gumpus Granary is almost indistinguishable from the other barns around here, except for the sign. And the sign is, it looks like a child did it, but it's, it was nailed to the wall a little too high up for a child to have hung it. It's, and it says, Gumpus Granary. Seeds,
don't say.
feed, and food.
Do I see any grain on the ground around the outside of this building?
Just where you were walking, you see some grain.
Okay.
But there's
Gotcha.
also, this place is there's a little windmill not far up the hill from here. It's away from the town center anyway. It's sort of on the opposite side of the town from the Zenmere Ranch, but you can see that the path leads up there. This is presumably where folks bring their grain to grind it.
When it comes to carrying goods, I'm more of a sewed leather kind of guy.
Not a bad way to be. It's a good camp. It's
Metal bucket kind of guy.
Oh, he's talking about buckets. Olenoth is talking about buckets. That's a sore spot, Horris.
You know, Horris, I tried to find you a replacement, but this town just doesn't have anything good. Not in
You
that
want to know?
regard.
You want to know how much that bucket meant to me?
That bucket?
Yeah.
Were you born with it?
No. I hand forged that bucket. I pooed in it while it was still hot. You don't understand the connection that I literally forged with that bucket. I've had that bucket since I was 10 years old.
Oh shit!
Do I know how old you are?
Everybody
Yeah.
knows how old I am.
You hear the
40 years
dungeon
old.
master shuffling for the character sheet.
You've been with that bucket for 30 years?
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit in it.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Blood in it.
Yep. My father taught me how to make that bucket.
So surely you could make another one, no?
A better
Could.
bucket.
I
A
could
better
make
bucket.
another bucket. That doesn't mean it wasn't my first bucket.
Yeah, but the first
It
is
was-
the
it was
trial.
my-
The second
It
one-
was my only bucket.
Oof.
My only bucket.
We're gonna get you materials to make another bucket. I cross my heart. We will give you the opportunity.
That bucket, you don't understand. It's like a wok. You don't wash a wok. You don't clean it out. You
What
let
the fuck is a wok?
Cast iron,
Says
basically.
Olenoth.
As Horus is pontificating about his bucket and how important it is, when you walk into the granary, you are greeted by hundreds of buckets. Wooden, metal, they're hung from the rafters, they're on the walls of this barn, they line the counter, they line the floor around the counter.
Any that are encrusted with blood and poo?
There's some that are in disrepair, absolutely. There's every kind of bucket imaginable here. And
Horror's kind of disrepair.
I walk in and see it and I start crying.
it's beautiful.
I
Tears of
burst
joy?
into hysterics and I run out.
Oh, Olenoth, you like freeze at the threshold because it's so on the nose. You weren't expecting to see nothing but buckets. Horus
Does
goes
Olenoth
dashing
realize
out.
if Horus is angry or happy.
It's not clear. Maybe it's it could be he's just so upset about losing his bucket, or it could be they should have sent a poet moment. This barn here, this Gumpus Granary, as the wind comes through it, there's almost like a wind chime sound with all the buckets together.
Oh Jesus!
And so this white-haired woman greets you. She says, "Welcome to Gumpus Granary. Feed, seeds, and food."
You must be Lady Gumpus.
She says, "That's me.
Do you have
How many
any,
buckets
corn?
would you like to buy?"
All right. What's with the buckets?
As many as you need. And she starts pointing them out and explaining their virtues. And here's a wooden one. Here's one with a custom handle. It's got finger grooves. And here's this other one. Oh, maybe you're not into that one. This one, it's even got a silk lining on the inside for carrying eggs or other gentle passengers. and her eyes get wide. She's very into buckets, you can tell. In fact, the
Yeah.
more you look around, there's not a whole lot of grain in here. It's mostly buckets.
Do you have any that jingle jangle?
She says, of course I have some that jingle. She grabs you by the wrist and she's pulling you over. There's a whole section of they're arrayed like wind chimes, these buckets, and they're built to hang from rafters, and like a mobile, they make sounds as they revolve around one another. And there are some that have compartments with gravel and whatnot in them, so it's perhaps a different timber than you're looking for, but certainly jingling nonetheless.
Do you have any like a metal like jingle, like a coin purse?
So, Gondor, what's going on with you? I picture Gondor like at a table,
Dreaming about buckets.
like head in his hands, just like what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, no, I'm just at the bar ordering more ales, getting ready for this dance.
What has my life become?
Yeah. Gondor's
Combat.
he needs the lubrication for this big moment.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like you're really getting pressured by your peers here. So the big rooster is actually filling in quite a bit. There's the
nice.
after-work crew has arrived. There's mostly farm hands here. You don't see anybody who looks out of place. There's no travelers here. It's just the locals. I mean, you are way up in the Sword Mountains, so maybe you wouldn't expect them. But by which I mean there's also all the rooms are open. Looks like there's 3 of them. If you
Alright.
were to stay the night, you never know.
Yeah, well, we'll figure that out. See how well the dance goes.
So you having a snack? Something to water down all that ale? Something to soak it up? Or just the ale?
Just the ale.
Okay. Alright. Horris,
Constitution
what's
saving
going on with
throw.
you? No, he's fine. He can hold his liquor for now.
I'm sitting out on the stoop of the entrance of
The granary?
Yeah, the granary, and basically between whimpers, I'm shouting out, "Steely!" Because it didn't really hit me up until this point that I lost my best friend, and
Yeah.
basically I'm crying just loud enough for people inside the establishment to hear me.
And so Olenoth is like he's popping out the door like with one bucket, like, hey, do you like this one? And then there's just no response. He goes back. Olenoth emerges with a different one. This one isn't even metal, but he's like, maybe you want this one. And just
Get some splinters in your ass.
Horris won't even make eye contact. He doesn't want to look at these buckets. This is not the dressing room montage he was looking for. He doesn't want this parade of buckets hanging over him. But Olenoth, you're sort of trying your best, but nothing seems to fill the void that Steely left. And so
Wanna
Horris,
ask her where she gets her buckets.
oh yeah, she there's a couple people that make them, but it looks like Gumpus herself does some of these. She does the wooden ones anyway. And there's also she shows you this one bucket that contains about 12 smaller buckets. And there's probably 4 dozen of these such large buckets with little buckets, and you get the impression that that takes most of her time, is she likes to make little buckets. And she's like tucking them in your pocket and trying to get you to buy them. It's almost like a little Christmas ornament thing. But yeah, it looks like the metal ones are probably done by a local blacksmith. But the wooden ones she does. Yeah, I mean, some of these farms, especially Zenmere Ranch, like they have their own blacksmith. It's not just in Zenmere proper.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll be a
Duly
personal
noted.
thing. Horris, you're sort of going through your mind. You're thinking about that stream in Everdew and like where the bucket may have ended up based on your knowledge of the Heartlands. Like, if this went down a certain river, would that tributary end up in the Sea of Swords? Like you're thinking about that, and you've gone from the tears have stopped, and now you're getting sort of wistful. thinking about what used to be and maybe even retrieving Steely. That's something to think about. So,
Well-
Olenoth, none of these buckets seem to be the cock for Dolly, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her all of her fucking tiny buckets back. Thank you, thank you. We'll see you around.
Mm.
Ah,
She bids you goodbye. She says, "Come back if you need any buckets.
Will do.
Your friend seems so sad. Maybe he'd like a bucket." And old lady Gumpus, she crouches down. She offers the little teeny tiny bucket to you, Horris, and you just wail. She retreats back into her shop.
I take the bucket for a quick second and I pat my tears off of my face and then hand it back to her and continue to cry.
I see. Very bittersweet this moment. Gondor, you hear Horris like screaming. It's pretty noticeable. Everybody in the big rooster, even as it's starting to get rowdy, they sort of look out the window toward the town square.
No, I just ignore it. I don't want to
Yeah.
be associated.
You caused this!
The time has come for the barn dance, the great Zenmir barn
boy.
dance.
Well,
So you hapless adventurers stumbled in just as it's happening.
drunk.
Maybe drunk. It sounds like Gondor had quite a few drinks. He needed the
Yeah.
liquid courage. What about the rest of you? Did you stop by the big rooster before heading over to the high barn?
I think we probably would have had time, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't spend too long at the bucket place. Somebody wasn't very happy.
Whoa.
People not the people aren't shown in picture, but
That's no problem.
That's a lot of wood.
that's what
You
she
liking
said.
that, Horris?
As you arrive to the high barn here at sundown, the barn's been made up for this occasion. In fact, you wonder if this place ever housed animals in the first place. There's a little bit of hay spread on the floor, but there's magic lights that line the rafters in the loft. Tables are laid out with checkered tablecloths, and there's snacks and ale flowing freely. Just about everybody in town is here. Yeah, there's all kinds of food available. When you roll up, one of the local hicks, as you would probably refer to him, Gondor, and in fact, Olenoth, this farm boy, it's sort of like... Right, you know how in high school there's like cliques? Well, among like the farm folk, there's subsections. You already judge him as soon as you see him. This fellow rolls up. He says, "Oh, you must be the guys that the Cobb sent over. You're travelers, right?"
No, we're professional dancers.
And so with that kind of bravado, are you just pushing right past him, and going in?
Yeah.
Okay. So Olenoth presses past the concierge here. He enters the barn.
I go in and I sit down at the table and put my head down like
Okay.
this red knight in the picture.
On the far side of the barn, it's away from the band, but close enough that they have a good view of the whole dance floor. Is the judge's table there, and you can see it's already populated with a few. Everyone has gathered for their refreshments, for the ale, to get all in the right mindset for some of the dancing here. And it looks like the festivities are going to kick off shortly.
Alright.
There's a few like words that are said. Daryl Zenmir himself, who's a gray-headed human, he stands up at the head of the judges' table. He knocks the handle of a bullwhip on the table, and he has sort of airy announcement. Welcome to the barn, this and that. He points out a few members of the community who will be serving as judges and identifies all of them. It's mostly the proprietors of the shops. There's Daryl himself and his daughter Lottie. Also, among some of the revelers, he points to his son as well. That is Bryce Zenmir, who he's a young guy. He seems like an upstart, but he's part of the special family here in Zenmir.
Bet he blows.
You can tell that Bryce is already, sort of a snot-nosed brat.
Yeah.
A little too
You
big for his
piece
boots.
of shit.
What an asshole. I ready my warhammer.
You guys should probably check your weapons at the door. I didn't really think
What?
about that, but
We're adventurers.
nobody else is armed.
We are.
That's your prerogative. If you want to hold fast to your weapons, I suppose they're not going to wrest them from you.
Is this green guy here eating a baby? What is this?
I don't know what that is.
No, I drew the red guy. That's me. The red guy is me.
Oh.
This is me here. I'm a fetus now.
Yeah, Binding of Isaac.
Awesome.
But the green guy got drawn like as I was drawing my guy,
Oh.
and it's Horris at the table just crying with his head down.
The green guy's just a stranger that's touching his ass.
Well, no, he's sitting next to him.
There's sort of like a pecking order that asserts itself here as the dancers line up. The band prepares for the first song of the evening, and now you three, you're sort of ushered into this line with a whole bunch of other farm folks, and y'all begin pairing off and selecting partners.
Oh god.
Uh-oh.
You're in a line with some of the other gentlemen, mostly old farmer men, and they sort of pair off with wives, and there's a few young bucks that pair off with ladies straight away, and they sort of beat you to the jump, and there's a few women left for the four of you. Marvin's here as well, and you see that
You don't
Marvin
need women.
Marvin has sort of preened himself. There's women and there's men, too, if that's your sort of thing. The band is queuing up again, getting their fiddles ready. So you see a dwarven woman who's wearing a rich ball gown. She's the best dressed woman here. There's also a halfling girl, a brunette with freckles. She's wearing trousers and talking to the dwarf. There's a young human woman with a long blonde braid. She's watching the line of men fidgeting with the hem of her dress. There is one other woman here that isn't paired off, and that would be Lottie Zenmir, who's at the judges' table, but she's positioned close to the line of women waiting to be paired off. So if you had the audacity, you might snatch her from the table.
There you go, Gondor.
Alright. Gondor's gonna go for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gondor,
he is.
you march up to the judges' table, and Lottie is a girl with long black hair, like the rest of the Zenmirs. She's wearing a black dress, and she has a long white silk ribbon in her hair. And when you offer her hand, she eagerly takes yours, and you two take the dance floor.
I want to
So-
walk up to the dwarven lady.
Okay, yeah. She introduces herself as Erna Brass Lantern.
Ah. Nice to
She
meet
has.
you, Erna.
She's very
Erna.
pleased to make your acquaintance. She likes you, and she squeezes your hand affectionately. She has russet hair, and again, she's dressed very nicely.
Yeah,
She
braids
introduces
her hair.
herself as the daughter of a merchant family, and she's sort of telling you all about this family as you take the floor. Yeah,
Horris
Horris.
is your boy.
I mean, I'm not gonna force you to pair off, but I'm just gonna say you can't win if you don't play. You know what I'm saying? There's a team of horses on the line for the best pair of dancers.
Has the freckled girl been paired already?
No, she has not.
All right. Well,
She's a
I,
halfling. She's watching you.
I wipe the tears away from my eyes and spit in my hands and slick my hair back a bit. And I take some of the grain and rub my armpits with it just to soak up some of the smell. And I shuffle over as smoothly as I can over to her, not making eye contact, just sort of like, nonchalantly moving my way over to her.
Yeah, she
just-
immediately takes like a sympathetic interest in you. She cradles your cheek in her hand. She goes, "Oh, why were you crying? This is such a fortunate day." The barn dance, and she's sort of cooing over you.
I lost something that I've had for maybe 3 decades. one of my new pals seemed to not appreciate the sentiment it had, and I'm still sort of grieving the loss. And I bat my eyes at her.
She's eating it up, basically. She introduces herself as Carol Sweetwine. She strikes you as a little bit rough and tumble, but she's ready to. She's trying to goad you onto the dance floor for this first song as it starts up.
Goad me.
Going out in the barn.
You've been goaded.
I play coy. I sort of resist at first, like I don't know if I wanna. All right, let's do it.
And the music starts. So
down.
all right. So all three of you come up here. All right. Here's the deal. The first song is the Traveler's Mints.
Yeah.
Now, Olenoth, you're very accustomed to this. You've done this one quite a few times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
All
with
the time.
prettier girls, but Erna
she's
is yeah, she's interested in you.
So
So
I can think.
yeah. That's-
Picture the tree.
she's got a lot of arm hair, but no beard, as they sometimes say about female dwarves. We're gonna go around with each of you guys, and you're gonna give me a check, and we're gonna see how well you dance. Roll a d20 and add your wisdom modifier.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
The thing about the Traveler's Mints is it's a dance where the partners it's not just steps but also a way of going about the room. So it's a square dance essentially. You need to make sure that you're not stepping on anybody's toes and bumping into anybody.
Did we take off our armor and stuff?
I presume you did. You maybe got dressed up a little bit. Yeah. But apparently
wearing
you're
my
still brandishing
finest-
weapons.
My finest burlap.
10 total? Oh no, 9 total.
16.
7.
Gondor, you're not doing so well, but Lottie sort of helps you keep up. And again, she's very interested in an elf. That's not something they see all the time here in Zenmir. And so she has all these sort of personal questions as you're dancing. But she's also very mindful, and she keeps you on track, and she helps your I would call it a poor roll. Olenoth.
Does that mean I get advantage?
No, it means that you're going to pass, and so you do
Okay.
okay. Horris, you are cutting a rug. You're doing just fine. No problems there. Olenoth, Erna's not the best dancer, and apparently neither are you. You weren't quite ready for this. So you're stumbling a little bit. Olenoth isn't quite keeping up.
I gotta just stretch out, get limber.
Marvin is among the band. He's also helping out a little bit, and that's what's given Horris the edge right now. So Olenoth, you're also keeping an eye on Bryce Zenmir, who is he's also dancing. He's got another black-haired girl, and he's
Hate these freaking
dancing. Yeah.
black-haired folks.
Really, all eyes are on Bryce, to be honest with you. Seems like he's doing pretty well. Like he's the crowd
try to
favorite.
trip him while we're dancing, since I'm doing so terribly.
Let's see the next roll, and we'll see if you can sabotage.
Come on, baby.
Oh, I'm so bad at dancing.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Got a
Horris is
natural
killing
one.
it.
We got the same as Gondor, except it was a 2 with a plus.
Oh. Gondor,
Oh,
you skin your
God.
knee.
I would expect a bloody nose with a natural 1.
Oh, I didn't get the natural one. I got the 2. Plus
We
one.
just trashed the dance floor together.
Yeah, Olenoth, you're not doing so well. In fact, Bryce laughs at you. That concludes that dance. There's a round of applause, and Bryce and Horris, they seem to be the ones to beat. And
Side eyeing this bitch.
yeah.
Not Erna. She's great. Bryce.
So Horris, Carol is very happy about your performance, and she wants to partner off with you for the next dance.
Alright.
You have the choice of switching off partners if you want to. Although Erna, she's sort of okay with you. Olenoth, you're not doing the best, and Gondor, Lottie is she feels like you're a diamond in the rough, and she knows that you can you're a little bit drunk and a little bit unsteady on your feet, but she has confidence that you can pull it out.
Okay.
She wants to bone an elf dick.
Gondor, you know, however, that since you're with Lottie and you sort of snatched her from the judge's table, Zenmir, the eldest there, what's his name? Daryl Zenmir. He's got his eye on you. He's sort of watching you like a hawk with his daughter. Olenoth, you've got the choice here. You want to try to step in with the girl Bryce is dancing with? That could be an option if you want to trip him up.
I want to take Erna full throttle here.
We're gonna full throttle. You got it.
This door for round, and we're going right for Bryce.
Okay, understood. The next song begins.
This is a good whipping dance.
That's right. This is the Kalimshan Caper. All right, so the dancers take their marks. So get your eyes on your character sheets. I'm gonna take Dex plus your modifier. This dance, there's a lot of high kicks and spins.
Okay.
So you're gonna need to be dexterous.
Good, I need that.
Fuck.
Oh, Horris, this isn't your jam.
Yes!
Come on, baby. Alright, a little better. I have 14 total.
Gondor, you're hitting your stride. This is what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, this is my song.
Not on
Horris, you had previously been sort of dragging Carol along, and now she's got to sort of... You're relying on her at this point. You're not quite familiar with the dance, and maybe she isn't either. You're not doing the best here. However, Bryce is off like a shot. He and that other woman he's dancing with, they're all over the place. In fact, Bryce is going from one partner to the next, and Olenoth, as you put Erna for an audacious spin, you're spinning her by one hand, Bryce snatches her away, and now he's dancing with Erna.
I want to go right into the Carlton.
Right into the what? Oh, okay, alright, I got you. The Carlton.
No.
Got it.
I'm going to spin myself over to his girl.
This woman, she does sort of the quick little introduction. She's Rosette Tarm.
What is she?
She is a human. She's wearing a velvet dress and matching shoes, black hair like the Zenmirs. But
What
she's
is she?
yeah, she's a human.
Do I like her?
She seems to know how to dance. She knows this dance. Yeah.
I was thinking about using her as a weapon.
Yeah. Well, you immediately get the sense that she's not your standard farm girl. She's probably higher class. The way Bryce might be, the way the Zenmirs might be.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get those checks one more time. As the tempo increases, as the kicks get more ferocious.
These dice are terrible.
Well done, Horris. Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
not one to dance.
Oh, nice.
He's so modest. He's doing the
like I'm walking the Waterdeep.
brushing off his fingernails on his finest burlap. He's like, yeah, I've cut a rug or two. Olenoth, I think maybe you need more liquor, or maybe less, something like that. So,
Yeah, it's practically me.
Rosette's a little bit unsure about like who exactly it is she's dancing with. You don't seem to know what you're doing now.
I'm gonna hold my finger and say, "Oh, give me 1 minute."
Okay.
And I go over and find the largest thing of beer I can. Chug it.
You're just scooping it straight from the bung on the keg, just getting it up in there. She comes back. Rosette says, "Why do you need that big hammer?"
No.
Jesus. There's a moment where the band the music comes to a close, and before the next dance starts, Marvin he stretches his hands out, he cracks his knuckles, and he takes the center of the stage. He gives the band a knowing glance, and they start up a certain song for him.
Oh shit.
What?
Marvin?
Oh, I'm feeling crunk.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I wink at my partner, and I
Yeah.
just sort of slink onto the center of the floor.
So Marvin gives Horris the finger guns, and then he casts the fishing line, and he reels you in. And it's getting real dirty on that dance floor. Horris and Marvin. They're doing some nasty breakdancing
Grinding.
moves. Yeah, they're doing a little bit of grinding. It's getting a little naughty. It's some good stuff, some good fun.
Shake that tail feather.
And this is pretty well received by the crowd. They the judges nod favorably to it. Horris, you've been pretty reserved about this, pretty coy about it, but you're pretty sure that you've got this in the bag, really. Horris is doing pretty darn well. So
it's just another day in the life of Horris Bucket.
the next song starts up.
I don't think I ever made it back to the dance floor.
Olenoth he's dancing off by himself in the corner. Still trying to do the
He's just
Carlton.
snapping his fingers,
Yeah.
looking at the ground.
He threw out his elbow. So who's retaking the dance floor? Horris, are you still game? Gondor?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna rematch with my same partner. I'm just gonna nonchalantly walk up to her after my feat of,
Oh,
of
yeah.
solo dancing. All right, let's go back to the dance floor.
Yeah. Carol Sweetwine
Tug on.
is very impressed by that. She says, "Who's your friend?" She seems interested in Marvin.
Oh,
Maybe too interested, Horris.
That's just just a great friend of mine, one that would never betray me or my trust or my my decisions in particular people.
Marvin
You
gives you the
got
finger
hurt,
guns.
Also, I hear that he beats women. So stay away from him.
Yeah. Horris, you're gonna have to pull out all the stops here to impress Carol.
Alright.
So this is the Tarask Trot, this dance here. I'm gonna need a strength plus your modifier.
shit.
Let's see how well you can do.
I want
Motherfucker.
to try to drunkenly stumble and try to fuck up Bryce.
Okay,
Like not,
got it,
not
got it.
fight him, but,
Yeah.
You know.
You can roll the dance and do it at a disadvantage, Olenoth.
Shit.
All right.
Oh, Horris. This
That's not what I wanted.
this dance involves lifting your partner, a lot of full body movements, a lot of strength. Olenoth, you smoothly cut in and take Erna back from Bryce. Do some more dancing, and
Can I lift her?
sure, absolutely. That's what this song is all about. It's you hold the leg and do a step, and there's another one where there's you cradle the dance partner, do a spin. Horris, Bryce cuts in and steals Carol from you.
You
Fuck this
motherfucker.
We have to
I
kill this
don't
guy.
like. Yeah, he's dead.
No, you're faltering a little bit, Gondor. It's still not steady enough on your feet. Lottie sort of moves to correct the posture, but the judges aren't looking favorably on it, Gondor. You have to pick up with the next chorus. But you see that Olenoth has come back with a vengeance. He's doing it
Nice.
well.
buddy.
Yeah, maybe use some guidance from him. So let's get the roll again as the final dance of the night. The tempo is frantic now. People are
Where's the
hauling
advantage again?
partners all over.
Oh,
That's
where's
right.
the-
Strength plus your modifier.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Shit. I rolled a 6 and a 9. I thought they were the same thing.
Are you that drunk in real life?
I just saw both of them with the lines.
Gondor and Horris pull out all the stops. There's the dramatic leans, the drops.
Yeah, I was pretending to not be able to pick her up at first. It was just like just like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah,
and
it
then
was
I come back in and start like spinning her over my head.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the cutesy little thing, like, oh yeah, oh I can't lift you, oh.
I don't know if I can. I'm not strong enough.
And then just the movements are all fluid, innate. Gondor, you're doing just fine too.
All right.
You impress Lottie at the end, and of course, since she's a judge, as you spin her off, the final notes ring, and she rejoins the rest of the judges at the table with her father. And Olenoth, you end up with your ass through a bucket of ale.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Erna is firmly on Team Bryce, Zenmir. After intense deliberation here about the judges' table, and there's input from the community. There's everybody comes up and says their piece to Bryce, and they all they give their impressions about who the best dancers were. And finally, Bryce Zenmir, he rises from the judges' table. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the yearly barn dance is coming to a close. We thank you all for turning out, and the judges will now announce the winners. The finest dancers tonight," and there's a drum roll from the band, and Marvin immediately starts imitating it. Daryl Zenmir says, "The finest dancers tonight, the award goes to Bryce Zenmir and his partner, Erna Brass Lantern." And there's applause from the crowd.
Go fuck yourself!
A great rejoicing.
You motherfucking... I should kill you!
Gondor, Lottie says to you, after the announcement, she says, "He wins every year." I thought you danced fantastically, Gondor.
Oh, well, thank you, dear.
And Horris, Carol is she's on your side now. She's not throwing glances at Marvin anymore. But unfortunately, you didn't win the contest. But that's not what Carol's about. She's after she had a great time dancing with you.
Yeah, pipe down, lady. Why the fuck didn't I win? I'm going to kiss the lady's hand, say, "If you'll excuse me for a moment," and I walk over to the table where all those assholes that chose Bryce are,
right.
And I say, "Hey guys, could I ask you what your determination was for choosing the best dancer?"
Bryce Zenmir, upon seeing you, his eyes light up. He goes to shake your hand, and he says, "You danced fantastically. Well done, sir. I've never seen a halfling lift another halfling so adroitly."
Basically, he takes my hand and shakes it, but
Yeah.
I don't move my body or look at him at all, as I'm still facing the people I'm asking questions.
Right.
As if he's physically not there.
Okay. Well, that's so you're asking the other judges. Among them is the proprietor of the Cobb, who he fancies himself a great master of the dance, and so he tells you about the different scoring systems and how they judge on not just speed but also knowing the dance and working with the partner, getting the crowd riled up, that sort of thing. There's scores for all of these, and he goes on and on. It's sort of like a pleasure of his, and you get the impression that this half-orc was the one who made up the scoring system. Daryl Zenmir, the grand pappy of the place, the real head judge, he's like, "You did quite well. Perhaps next year you can win the team of horses. We'd love to have you back."
Get me out of this bucket!
Gondor, you gonna help Olenoth out?
What's he doing?
He's ass first in a bucket of ale.
Oh, jeez. Yes, I'll wander over.
Erna! Where's Erna?
Erna's with Bryce.
So Gondor is pretty. Where's Gondor at?
He's helping Olenoth.
I'm gonna go talk to Olenoth for a second.
Okay.
As inebriated as he might
Hey,
be.
little buddy.
Hey, so how attached to this establishment or this town, these people are you? Would you mind not ever coming here again?
What place? Zenmir?
Yeah.
Zenmir blows.
Alright, well, I was thinking maybe we could take Bryce Fuckhole's horses that he just won and claim them for ourselves.
We won the horses!
We won the horses, Olenoth. We did it. Isn't it so great?
Olenoth, as you're looking at Horris, you see that he sort of doubles himself, like there's two of them. But then you realize that it's just like a female halfling over here. And Horris, Carol Sweetwine is with you. She says, "I have no real reason to help the Zenmirs. I know that the horses will be delivered to the Zenmir Ranch tonight. If you're looking to do some cattle rustling," she says, "perhaps I can help you out."
Well, we won, Olenoth, but I talked to the judges. No. We won, like all of us.
Oh,
The three of us won. Yeah, we won the horses, but we have to go take them from Bryce because he's stealing them from us.
What? Give me
Yeah.
my hammer.
Well, hold on. We're gonna do this as non-violently as we can.
Carol's looking at Olenoth, who's groping for a hammer that isn't there. It's popped off of your
Still in
belt.
the bucket.
Yeah, it's in the bucket. And
Gondor.
Carol says, she says that the ranch is not well defended. There's no guards anyway, but there may be people wandering. But she says tonight is probably a good time, and she gestures around the barn where you can see all of the black-haired Zenmirs. They kind of stick out a little bit with their nicer clothing. They're mostly, they're here for the ale as well as the entertainment, so they're probably gonna be sleeping well tonight. And Carol Sweetwine, she sounds like she's on board with this. She's gonna try and help you guys out.
I want to knock myself over and get up with the bucket still attached.
I don't know if you guys want to go right to the high barn. Isn't far from the Zenmir Ranch, and there's plenty of spots where you could hide behind the trees and maybe wait or just listen for the horses to be delivered.
I think we should wait until the horses are arriving. Gondor, you and I should do this. I don't think we need a wild card, so to speak.
Yes, that's probably
Taking
good.
care of this. We should
Yeah,
probably
get out of here, Carol.
Alright. Maybe we should tie you to a pole or something. So we could just tie him to a horse as we get them. So yeah, I think waiting is probably the best bet. And Carol can hop on one of the horses. We could take 3 horses if we wanted to.
Yeah.
How many horses was the prize?
It's going to be 4 horses, the team.
All right, 4 horses. We'll be the
Goodness.
4 horsemen.
Gotta give one of the horses to that guy.
Whose guy?
Yeah, little guy.
Wahoo!
Oh yeah, that was right. You were talking about delegating trade with Goose, the bowyer.
Yeah. That goosey.
But didn't you already get the bow you wanted that he wanted the horses for, or did you not?
No, you guys don't have that bow.
Bows for you guys.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we'll do 4. We'll do the 4 horsies. We'll give one of them to the goose.
I love the
Yeah.
drunk planning. It's so great. The best part is, yeah, I love the fact that Gondor's also drunk, so he's just like, yeah. Marvin keeps excitedly making horse sounds, like galloping and whinnying. He's all about finding some horses.
I'd say let's saunter on over to the Zenmir Ranch.
Yes, let's saunter.
So
Okay.
Horace takes the lead.
So Carol, why are you so familiar
shit.
with the ranch here?
Look at this.
Carol describes the fact that she's lived here for quite a while, and so inevitably you do some work here and there for different farmers, and some of that happened to be on the Zenmir Ranch.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Most of the work around here, she tells you how the Zenmirs usually have, maybe not indentured servants, but they have seasonal laborers. And so they actually have quarters on the ranch itself. You can see the farmhand quarters are a little bit nicer than the servants' quarters. It's they treat the people who tend the horses and the crops a little bit better than those who just do the washing and that sort of thing. There's a pretty good moon tonight, and there's fires here and there, a few torches along the walls. There's braziers by the house itself. You can get a pretty good view on everything. But it's up to you guys which way you want to approach it.
So let's approach it from the chicken coops. So like about give me that shit. No.
How high are
Okay.
those walls?
Here, let me
Yeah,
get
that's
some
a good
tokens
question.
in here. Those walls are about 15 feet.
Oh shit.
Fuck.
You know. Well,
They're in a fortress.
it's a horse ranch, so you don't want them jumping.
Olenoth can go like, yeah, in a bush somewhere, somewhere where we can get to him with the horses.
He's kind of
but-
in that like haze after you puke and you drunk, where you're, out of it, but you're not like falling over yourself anymore.
Right, feeling a bit
He's
better.
he's laying down though.
Okay, we need him in a place where we can get to him with the horses, so we can just, climb up a horse good enough to ride off into the sunset. I walk over to this.
Oh, and there's
way over
Carol,
here.
sweet wine.
Oh, look at her.
She's awfully sweet wine.
I'm going to post up, make sure that everything goes smooth. Basically, Gondor, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna sneak one out at a time, all right? Or maybe we should do all at once. I don't know. I'm not really
Mm.
confident about this.
You don't
We
have
could,
to
like,
steal the team that they won either. You could steal existing horses.
That's true.
Yeah,
Any-
but-
Their
any
prized
three.
pony.
What did you call me?
That's a
something to
good
consider.
point, drunk Olenoth. Maybe we should.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna climb over the fence now, take a peek at what they got, and then I'll send you like a.
Text, Snapchat.
It's been enough time that the farm hands and the servants are probably up and waiting for their masters to return,
Okay,
and so they may be arriving soon.
gotcha. I'm going to hop the fence.
Okay.
If I send you a, I'm going to shoot back over either a green or a blue arrow. Okay.
Coming in handy.
Green means we're going to wait. Blue means I'm coming out with horses. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna see what we got here. I'm gonna check, make sure the coast is clear.
Okay.
Green is blue and horses are true.
Sounds
Yeah,
right
yeah,
to
yeah.
me.
Yeah. So, I'm probably getting this mixed up from what I told you the first time, but blue means no go. Green means go.
That's
Okay.
opposite.
Green is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't get any red arrows, so it makes it kind of confusing. All right, so I go ahead and shoot the arrow up, and
Yeah.
I get on top of the wall. So yeah, I just fashion the rope that I have at the top, and I climb down to the bottom, and I tug on the rope so that it comes down.
Okay. All right.
So there's no trace,
Got it.
And then I sneak around back and take a peek in the
Sneaky
barn.
like.
I'm looking around, making sure, is there anybody around me? Are there any like servants, any guards, anything?
You see one of these yokels is patrolling, sort of walking around the premises. He just looks like a farm boy, but he has a pretty big axe in his hands.
Does that say gooses?
Yeah, that's where they keep the gooses.
Okay.
Horris, could you roll me perception, please? In the stable, you see that there's a team of horses waiting, and they're already they have some of the harness already for that you would put on a team. You know, the straps that go from one horse to the other to keep the four in formation. And they're actually like in the center of the stable, and there are probably a dozen other horses in here.
They're in formation. Does that mean there's a cart around?
Not in the stable, no. Not that you can see. These are all just the stables and stacks of hay. There are some saddles for riding, although you'd probably have to put them onto these horses.
Right.
It might take a little bit of doing if you wanted to pull them out individually.
Was there enough time between us leaving and arriving here for Zenmirs to be on
Yes.
their way?
In fact, so you're taking up a spot by the front of the compound there, Gondor.
Yeah, I'm kind of hiding in this corner here.
Carol, you can see her stir, and she goes around the side because she can hear some of the Zenmirs arriving from the high barn. They're easy to spot. They're drunk, a little bit loud. and they make their way up. There's Bryce Zenmir along with Erna Brass Lantern, and there's
That
also
bitch.
Lottie Zenmir is there, and so is Bryce, or not Bryce, Daryl. So they come staggering through. They enter the compound, and you can hear them talking to the farm boy there.
Would I be able to hear Carol like rustling on the other side of the
Yeah,
fence?
you can hear her, but you don't hear Gondor.
Okay.
Yeah, you were gonna send an arrow over and there's nobody there to receive it.
I didn't tell Carol the plan, or
She was too far away to hear it.
okay.
Gondor just left
So
you.
shit. I send a an orange arrow or a yellow arrow or whatever the fuck arrow I said before. What is it? Blue.
Oranges, wait.
Blue. I send a blue arrow over, right here.
Okay, Carol. She goes over and retrieves it, and she picks it up, and you like hear her rustling, and then she just stops. It sounds like she's just staring at the arrow, and she says, "What does this mean?" You can hear her through the wall.
God damn it! Where's Gondor? It means we're not bringing out the horses yet.
Little known character flaw, Horris can't whisper.
She says, "I'll go get your friend," and she
Hey, Carol!
yeah.
You gotta be stealthy!
Yeah.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Carol comes around the front, Gondor, and she goes, "Psst." She's trying to get your attention.
What?
Your friend shot this, and she hands you an arrow.
Oh,
Why do you
nice.
have wings and a halo?
And
Oh,
so,
nice.
yeah, Gondor is colorblind, so he can't tell if it's blue or green.
Oh fuck! What?
Is that a thing?
I'm just joking. I thought it'd be funny.
This means we have to wait.
Oh, Carol says, "All right, we'll wait, but we should be out of here soon.
Okay.
We're making so much noise," and she's sort of fidgeting. Horris, you can see that the Zenmirs have they've filed all of them toward the house. The door is open. You can hear that. I want you to roll a perception to see if you can hear what they're talking about. You can't hear what they're saying. Not well. You can hear that it's a little bit drunken, slurred, and you can hear
Pretty loud.
yeah. You hear Erna's laugh. She has a distinctive laugh.
About how many people are there? Like just like over 5.
It sounds like there's 4, and
Okay.
they're well. There's 4, and then this henchman too. So the Zenmirs go into their house. Erna joins them, and the henchman he's patrolling, and so he walks and he checks the barn. He's at this east side of it. He opens the door. He investigates. He has a lamp in his hand, so he shines it in there. And you can just hide around the corner, but I'm gonna have you give me a stealth check there.
Fuck.
The stupid farm boy thinks he heard something, so he goes into the stable and he's just sniffing around, poking around. He doesn't come out the other door, so he's not gonna find you necessarily if he doesn't go all the way. But it sounds like you're making too much noise.
I'm going to go around the front of the stable,
Okay.
and I'm going to call out to him at the front. Just normal voice, not loud enough for the house to hear me.
Hey, stupid farm boy!
Yeah. How do you refer to him to get his attention?
Young man, I was wondering if you could help me out.
So he heads toward your side of the barn. With his lantern, he can see that you're a diminutive figure. Maybe he can't tell your age necessarily right off the bat. But he says,
Gotcha.
Ho, who goes there?"
Oh, hi, I'm just with the party. We're here. We're having a good time. I was over at the dance competition. Were you there? It was great.
So he was not at the dance competition. You don't remember him. So
Okay.
I'm gonna have you roll a check to see if you can bluff him.
Can I hear any of this from where I am?
You can hear
Natural
that.
20?
Yeah, you can hear the conversation happening. I mean, Horris raised his voice to call out to him, so you probably heard that. He says, "We need to get you to the house. You shouldn't be out here at this stable."
Oh boy. So what happened
Oh,
at the
bother.
competition was it was me and beautiful man named Bryce. We were having our friendly dance off, and he won. Being a good sport I am, I just wanted to come congratulate him, have a few drinks with him, but I did want to look at these prize horses because I didn't get a chance to look at them before.
Right.
See what I missed out on, basically.
When he comes close, you see his nostrils flare as he catches a whiff of you. So he says,
As he's stepping away from the horse.
"No, he's stepping toward you, and
Closer to
he's
Horris.
Horris. He's sort of brushing you out of the barn. He says, "You can get a good look. You've seen them. Now you should get going back to the house." Yeah, he takes you around. He closes the door, and he says, "Let's go to the house. I'll take you to the house. You can talk to Bryce. The horses are
Olenoth.
here. Bryce always wins. It's no big surprise." And he wants to lead you away.
Oh, one question. What was that about always winning?
He says, "Bryce always wins.
Well, why is that?
He's a good dancer." Have you
I'm
met Bryce? Like, he's the best dancer.
No, I've met him. Yes, we had good words at the dance competition. Where I would say a bit more than acquaintances at this point. But
Lovers even.
I think Bryce already has someone else for tonight.
Oh. Well, here, if you're going to say he's a good dancer, let me show you some dance moves. Maybe you can decide for yourself. I basically slyly the rope that I had used to jump over.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily behind my back, but it's sort of like I don't know, Indiana Jones style on my hip.
Just to note,
Okay.
Yeah.
Olenoth has roused. He's groggy, but he's up.
Okay.
I want to tie him up, basically.
Brad.
I want to see this roll, though. I want to know if you do, if you fall flat on your face, or if you do the Napoleon Dynamite dance.
Yeah. That actually sounds pretty good. I'm doing the fist down, 1 foot slide. I'm going
Yeah.
back and forth as I'm doing it, and then as I turn my back, hopefully I glance over my shoulder and see if he's actually paying attention.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I basically I do that in a circle, and as my back is turned, I swing back around and I catch his feet with the rope and I try and jump him. Son of a bitch. What do you think of my dance moves, boy?
What do you think of my dance moves, little boy? The farmhand, he's not super impressed, but he does believe that you're one of Bryce's friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to lead you off to the house. He's like, "Come on,
Gotcha.
we'll get you a drink."
As he's leading me on, does he turn his back to me?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, this is when I strike.
All right.
Come on. Come on.
Checking the AC. Yeah,
Come on.
you managed to seize him, get him all wrapped up in your grasp. Gondor, you hear a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, I
talking
wanna start-
stopped
Gonna show
suddenly.
you how it dance back home.
I want to start kind of sneaking in at this point.
Carol is watching you, Olenoth. She says, "Something's happening. You should help."
Can I even see her?
It's pretty dark, but there are torches along the top of the wall, and so you can
Okay.
sort of see her silhouette. You can hear her over there.
What's on the top of the wall? Like, are there
It's just
flat?
yeah, it's basically a flat board. It's only maybe or like a foot thick. The wall itself.
How did
Horris,
Horris's work?
he got over somehow. You were asleep for most of it. Horris, you managed to you get this kid on the ground, and you successfully grappled him. So now you can tie him up if you want. But he
Okay.
is protesting.
Okay. I want to tie him up and gag him.
Okay.
Basically.
He's struggling a little bit, but Horris has him under wraps. He's got the gag on. He's got the wrists bound behind the back.
Oh.
We're going to open the doors of the stable again.
Okay.
Drag him
All right.
in.
Pulling him in there.
Yeah. He's gonna be. I'm gonna try and like lay some hay over him too.
Okay. He's a little bit heavy. Gondor,
Oh,
maybe
is
you
he?
want to help him out? Yeah.
Yeah,
he's,
yeah,
He's a
we could do
Yeah,
big,
it.
tall
Man,
human.
If I
Yeah.
can get over there.
Sure. You make your way over. Yeah.
Oh, nice work.
So he's in the barn, hidden
Nice.
under some hay.
Dead.
Gondor. Now that you're here, I guess we can both. What we need to do is we need to see if there's enough. Shit. What are they called?
Horses?
Fucking, shit. The things
Saddles?
that go on horses.
Yeah,
saddle.
saddles.
Yes. Yeah, saddle. We need to find enough saddles and
Okay.
undo the combination ties for all the harnesses and stuff, so we can
Alright.
individually ride these out.
You hear loud reveling in the house itself. You see the lights go on in the second floor. The partying is continuing.
I take a
Loud
peek
reveling.
outside the barn to make sure nobody's coming.
You hear someone inside the house go, "Jeremy!"
Dice
What do we
up
got?
there,
Yeah.
I'm
You can hear Olenoth and Carol on the other side of the wall, or what you presume is Olenoth. Maybe he's roused himself. But you don't see anyone else patrolling or anything like that. It's looks like you're home free.
Okay.
Carol, what your fine ass doing here?
Hey, get off my girl. I hear you over there. We about to come out with some horses. You guys better be
Okay.
good.
The 4 horses, the ones in the draft horses here, the real good Amphail Greys, they're all still in harnesses. So you would have to undo the harnesses, or at least disconnect them from each other, and then you'd have
Yeah.
to saddle them and then get them going.
Yeah. How long would that take for men of our skill?
Have you ever worked in a stable? Do you know how to work with horses' tack? Do you have any skill in putting a saddle on and off a horse?
I've seen people put on and off saddles before, but
Mhm.
that was before age 13.
I see.
So,
How about you, Gondor? Any horsemanship experience?
Yeah, I've done it several times.
All right. So Gondor can sort of take the lead. If you've got someone with some experience, I would say it's going to take about 20 minutes to get all the harnesses off and then to get the saddles on and ready.
okay. I'll go ahead and undo the harnesses. Gondor, since
Okay.
you know what the fuck you're doing, and I'm kind of stupid when it comes to this stuff, you deal with the
Yeah.
All right.
saddles.
I'm gonna
And so
start wandering
once
off.
once you start undoing the harnesses, the horses kind of wander through the barn. Did you remember to close the door behind you when you dragged the
Fuck.
stable boy in? One of the horses
Um,
goes outside.
Okay. I see that it's wandering outside, and I try and catch up with it. I get the horse. I get the horse right, like I can see lights from the from the house as I'm grabbing at this horse's harness and trying to drag it back in.
You still hear the laughter from the house. Sounds like things are quieting down a little bit.
I have +1 in animal handling. I suck.
Well.
Oh,
No, you
God.
don't need to roll, Gondor. It's just
Oh, okay.
yeah, you're just gonna help him out with the task.
Fuck.
Yeah. You've got advantage, Horris, so you get another shot at it.
Yeah, 10 and 6.
So a 10 is good enough. You're gonna be able to get the horse back into the barn,
Come
but
on,
not
you
without
stupid
making a
butt.
little bit of noise. This horse is
Alright.
shod, and so it's making distinct horse leaving the barn sounds during the
Son
night.
of a bitch. Don't make
So-
me hog tie you too.
Horus is just dragging the horse by its tail, pulling it back in the barn.
Come on, you piece of shit.
So
Let's go.
as the house Zenmir, the lights are down, the candles are out. You can hear the servants are walking from the house to the quarters themselves, and
Oh, son of a bitch.
you can hear footsteps, and so it sounds like someone is coming to check on the barn. Another. It's probably just a servant, but they're going toward the door.
I'm
Tell me
going
how you
to-
hide.
Yeah, so the horses are just going to be standard. We're going to tie the ones that had already been untied from one another
Okay.
to the posts and stuff in the barn, and then I'm gonna lay literally next to, staring in the eyes of the guy that I hogtied.
I'm gonna
Threaten
go
life.
in this corner wherever there's hay to hide behind or something in there.
Okay. The servant comes in. The door opens maybe like a quarter of the way. You can see the light from a lantern shine in. The lantern glints in the eyes of all the horses who look to the door, look to the light. So the lantern comes inside. There's a look. They scan. Gondor, give me a stealth check.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
Oh no.
Oh
boy.
fuck.
Oh no.
Oh fuck.
It's pretty bad.
Well, it depends what I'm hiding behind. I was just going for some hay, like in a corner, just like crouching behind it.
Okay. Well, you're pretty tall, and that's the thing. This
Yeah.
the servant comes in with the lantern. They pick out a figure crouched in the doorway.
All right, I'm just gonna straight up sprint at him and tackle him then.
Okay. All right.
It's a 10.
Okay. Let's see what this. It's a lady. You realize
Oh,
as
no.
you tackle her.
Oh no.
So you fly at her from the corner. You collide with her and then fall to the ground. And she says, "What's the meaning of this?" And she says, "Intruder, intruder!" And she goes back out the door with her lantern, and she's heading toward
No.
the house itself.
Okay, so from the time when we started to the time she showed up, how many of these horses are actually like ready to go?
I would say there's 2 of them. 2 are ready.
Okay.
But you said
Gotcha.
you tied them all off to posts, right?
Yes. Gondor, that was stupid. All right, so we gotta. I go over to the ones that we tied to the posts. I cut them free. I don't even bother untying them. And the short leathers that were
Right.
tying them to the posts, I
Yeah.
tie to the saddles of the 2 that were ready.
Okay.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly.
Olenoth, you come.
Finding his way around.
Yeah. You wander in here. You turn the corner. You see this frantic servant with a lantern, and her eyes go wide when she sees you in the light of her lantern.
Clothesline. 13 plus 5, 18.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
She's not going to dodge that. I don't think. What did you get?
13 plus 5 is 18.
You go to clothesline her, and she like takes it on the chin. She continues fleeing straight past you. She gets right past you. You're hardly an
Alright,
impedance
Get
to
the
her.
crossbow out? No.
Okay.
No, I'm just
Oh my God.
Listen,
Okay.
Olenoth, this is the moment where this lady, she's about to, the doorway is on the front of the house, and you've
Okay.
got that crossbow on your hip. You've got a bolt locked and loaded. Her back is turned. She's fleeing. She's got the lantern. She's easy to see. Is this a time when Olenoth would pull the trigger?
No, he wouldn't do it.
Okay.
All right. So,
You hear shouts in the house Zenmir. The lights go back on.
I burst open the stable doors. Gondor, you're on the lead horse.
Mm-hmm.
The lead horse has 2 horses attached to it. They don't have saddles on them.
All right.
And I hop on the rear horse. Not really knowing what the fuck I'm doing, but I was hoping that I could figure it out on the way.
Not bad.
We're basically going to try to escape this motherfucker as
Mhm.
quickly as possible.
Mm.
Is there anything near the front door over here that I can use to try to bar the entrance?
There is a wooden bench, but it's a little bit flimsy, to be honest with you. It's not going to do
Anything
much to
try
bar
to
it.
impede them.
The door opens inward too.
Oh, gives them a hurdle they gotta jump over.
Just
Okay,
throw it
fair
in
enough.
front of the
Yeah.
door.
So Olenoth like drunkenly whips this this bench in the way. More pressing is the fact that your comrades are turning the corner with a team of horses.
Yeah. Okay.
Before I actually start like riding out of this stable, I shout over the wall this general direction, and say, "Person that's with us,
Carol.
who must not be named, we're going. Meet us at the front gate. Go." And then I bolt over to meet the convoy.
Okay. So Olenoth, these guys come tearing around the corner. Horris and Gondor, I want you each to give me animal handling checks
Shit.
to get them around the corner and get them out.
Okay.
Alright, let me handle that animal.
Here we are,
Damn.
Oh, you handled it.
like a champ.
I'm getting a bit squirrely on this horse.
Yeah,
I hope I
not
can
the
stay
best.
on top.
Yeah, you're going off toward the wall a little bit. Your pair of horses. Olenoth, you see these guys coming around the corner. You could probably jump on with Gondor.
Oh God. I'm gonna try to just throw myself like so my stomach is over the horse,
Okay.
not like sitting on it.
Like,
I feel like that'd be the easiest way to get on it.
Yeah.
You can like leap and then get your belly over the this one doesn't have the saddle over it, so it's just bareback.
Yeah.
It's actually a little bit easier to get onto it. It's not as high to get, but there's no reins. There's no
Right. But they're
no
attached to
stirrups.
each other?
Yeah, you can hold on to the tack that's on Gondor's horse,
Okay.
and he's doing a pretty good job keeping these horses nice and steady. So it makes
Hey,
it a little
buddy.
easier for you to stay on top.
Hey.
You hear the House Zenmir parties getting to the door.
Gondor just
You see
disappeared.
a few servants already at the doorway.
Oh.
Some of them come out of their quarters there.
We're fucked. We're fucked, guys.
Well, you're going pretty fast on these horses.
Hoof it. Hoof it.
Yeah,
we're making our way out. Let's
see
do
if you
it.
can give me a better animal handling check, Horris.
No.
I just want to see if you can get them through this gate, because I feel like this is the last sticking point. Gondor's got them through just fine. Picking up some speed
I'm trying.
for sure.
I'm really trying. I'm kicking around the front of the gate trying to get him to go the right direction.
Mm.
Shit's not going well for me.
One of these, one of the servants is gonna take a swing at you here. One with a pitchfork actually gets you for 4 damage. Right on
damage?
the butt. Yep.
Okay.
Right as you're
Can I
trying
still-
to turn to get out.
Can I still see him?
Yeah, you can see that Horris hasn't quite managed to get his team through the gates.
Can
But,
I see the guy that hit him?
Just barely.
Oh, okay.
He's pretty far away and it's dark too. So, Gondor, you have gotten Olenoth. You're heading down the road. I don't know which direction you want to go
Where's
in.
Gondor?
He like glitched out. He flew away.
I don't know where I went.
I'll make you a new Gondor, a better one.
Has Carol made her way towards like closer?
She's running around the outside, but it looks like she's not going to catch those two anyway. They're
Yeah.
off like a shot. You managed to get the horses out the front of the gates after some
Okay.
maneuvering, and
Okay.
you're not quite as fast as the other two are, but you managed to evade the other servants that are coming out. Now it's probably just a matter of time until they get horses of their own and come after you. So it's going to be a little bit of speed and stealth will probably be useful here. So my question to you, Gondor, is which way do you want to go? The outskirts of Zenmir are pretty close. If you're just to go west from here, you'd be, heading toward basically the most viable mountain pass that will take you toward Waterdeep. You could also just head into the center of town, would be another place. You could go back up toward the Narrows. There's a good amount of wooded land there where you could hide.
We're gonna go north.
Okay. So that would be... there's not a tremendous amount of land that way. It's a lot of... there's a vineyard there and some... there's some farmland. It's not real good hiding places.
Oh.
We should go to the mountains. Favorite terrain.
Yeah, that would definitely bring you to the mountains, though, if you headed north. You could manage that.
All right.
So, Gondor's just heading north. Let's get out of here.
Okay,
How did
I'm
that
gonna
bitch
head.
avoid my clothesline?
I'm gonna try.
She
I'm gonna
rolled really
try.
well.
I'm gonna try and head towards Carol.
Do you want to slow down for her, or are you just going to throw out your hand?
Oh, I'm gonna slow down because I'm not that good at this shit.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to
What
slow
the-
down.
How does a halfling get on a horse?
He's on
Very
one of the
careful.
smaller horses.
I wanted a mule.
Carol looks horrified. She says, I'm not going with you, but best of luck." She reaches her hand out to sort of one last
High five.
caress, basically. Yeah. It could be a high five if that's how you interpret it with your poor social skills. But she doesn't want to get on the horse. She doesn't want to ruin her reputation here. She says, "I have a life here. I can't do this."
Nobody knows you're here though.
She says, "They won't know. They won't know." And she runs into the underbrush here outside the...
I
Forest.
remember you, Carol.
Kill her!
And I keep going north.
Okay.
Oh, I
And
fell off the
that's
horse
where the
down
scene
here.
closes, boys.
Hurry up, Olenoth.
The
We just
horse
stole
thieves.
A group of horses.
That's right.
Boom.
Horses you rightfully won in a dance contest.
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Should have won.
That shit was rigged. It was obviously rigged. Bryce was gonna win.
Should've threw torches into their house windows.
Oh
What?
my god.
What?
I cast Scroll of Fire on the house.
Oh no.
Get me
The
your
fireball.
blows.
I was thinking about using ensnaring strike on that first guy, but I don't know if it would have failed, or if he would have been able to get out if he had rolled a proper save.
Mm.
So I thought rope would have been a better, because in a combat situation, ensnaring strike would be nice, but not in a situation where I'm trying to continue stealth.
Right. Yeah, I think you made the right choice. Listen, you're the players. Any choice you make is always the right choice, except when it's not.
I lost
Set
the
up. Set their
blue
house
arrow.
on fire.